Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are hyping things up as map number 2 is almost starting to come through. Icebox is where this series could potentially see its conclusion. So for all gamers, they'll be praying that this can get to map number 3, but Tyloo will be confident that they can close this one out.
Yeah, the thing is, we have no idea what Tyloo looks like on this map. We have no information at all. For all we know, they run 4 duelists and a controller. For all we know, they're the only team that's running like Neon on this map, or they're throwing a Waylay out there. Like, we have no idea what Tyloo's going to pull out, and that is both to their benefit, but also their detriment, because they haven't had time to practice this on stage.
No, they're absolutely right, but what they could do is pull out one of those one and done compositions where it's impossible to win and play against on your first point just because you don't know how to deal with it. Icebox has been around for so long that it's now no longer going to be in the map pool after this anyway, so it could. I'm honestly fully expecting the most crazy scenarios, right? 4 Sentinels and an Omen.
Okay, yep, that would be an angle. I wouldn't say it's a good angle. I wouldn't say it's one that I would agree with, but it's an obtuse angle. But no, it turns out it's going to be a comp from 2023. We're just running it back. This is the Fnatic comp of old. We just pull out the Jet again. We just pull out the Sova. Like, it's just Tyloo's just the only VODs they have are from 2023, and they're just sticking with that.
Let me get this right. We have hid this map all stage just to bring out the most basic composition possible. Why not just take us to Ascent? Why not just start there? Like, it's the same idea.
Yeah, true. I mean, maybe this comes down to their anti-stratting rather than anything else. They mirror match comp all gamers. They know how all gamers are going to play. They've watched a bit of footage from that, and maybe it's one of those where they've been scrimming the map a lot, but they've not brought it out on stage because a few different teams have been banning it, you know? So it could just be a multitude of reasons for why this is the first time they've played it. But Veggie, the question is, do you have faith in all gamers to pull this series back?
I've got one word for you, 2 letters. No, I do not.
That's more than 2 letters.
I was supposed to just say no, and then I decided to flow with it a little bit extra. Okay. But
Veggie can't spell. This is not new news to us. But what is new news is potentially all gamers maybe looking to win a pistol round, as they have been struggling so far. 0-2 on pistols on that first map, and it led to a snowball that they just couldn't stop as Tyloo just ran away with map number 1.
Yes, this one starts to pick up in action. There was some fast contact over towards B, which for Tyloo thought was going to draw numbers, but the lack of information and action that happened after that has given all gamers the confidence that A site is where these bodies will reside and where this hit will eventually come in. You can see the extra pace coming through, but it seems like Tyloo have the read on this. They wanted to cause a distraction and send the spike back across towards B, get as many members for all gamers on here as possible. And I mean, they're not using utility, right? It's literally just pure fire a couple bullets and hope that the bodies move across. And so far, it's worth a treat.
I mean, they don't really have utility to use. 2 sheriffs been bought. On the flip side, all gamers 2 sheriffs as well. We've turned it to the wild west for this pistol round, but the spike should be going down for free. The question is, how much can they hold after this? They are just going to back away. No Sage on the side of all gamers, so this retake is going to be that little bit harder.
Yeah, but it's all about the insertion of Slowly that's still stuck on mid. It's not really planted for them, but it will be enough to be a pain in the backside once it activates through. The paranoia already thrown in just to try and buy a little bit of extra time and delay things down.
I don't like this. All gamers missing shots they should hit again, but at least from there they're finding more kills. There's a bit of chaos. A Spitfires has found 2, and all gamers are starting to dwindle down the numbers. But this insert of Slowly isn't able to do anything. You spoke about it as a pivot point for Tyloo, but when the rest of the team couldn't hold back the onslaught of all gamers, Slowly just didn't have a chance to activate.
Yeah, the smoke was almost acting as the stage there as well, right? Often you see that stage wall go down and then that's enough to at least threat the defusal, but instead they just used the smoke to force Tyloo out of positions and into the fight, which all gamers were more than capable of dealing with on this occasion, and win out the body fights and do something that they've not been able to do this series, like you mentioned, win the pistol and put themselves into a winning position. The first time this series they have led.
And this is where we get to see, is it a mistake from Tyloo picking a map that they've not played on stage before, as All Gamers only puts themselves up to a 50% pistol win rate. Okay, I believe that's across the stage, and so, you know, not that they're unused to losing out those pistol rounds, but still they would love to carry on the momentum here.
We get to see what Tyloo can do with the weaker weaponry. Haven't seen it at all this series so far, and right now it's just...
I just realised that, yeah, we haven't seen them pretty much be in a weaker situation, have we?
Nah, they've always had the better weapons, the Vandals up. I think there's maybe one occasion where there was a couple Sheriffs on the go, but in reality, they've had the gas foot on the pedal this whole time, and now they're the ones that don't have the acceleration on. They're doing the same again, Snow. They've made some noise over towards B, and they're just quickly heading over towards A again. They're scared, it seems, on this map.
I mean, it's a benefit to All Gamers. We were talking about how All Gamers look scared during Lotus. It's Tyloo that's looking a bit scared, and maybe it's a lack of experience on this map because they haven't played it in the stage. Let's just reiterate this. This is Tyloo's map pick, a map that they are yet to play during this stage.
Yeah, maybe they're just big fans of Haven and want to end there. Big fan of three bests in the series, and I mean right now it's going to be round 3 where they're going to be looking to get their action. They do have scales inserted on a mega lurk, but with no time left, it's going to have to just walk into their death so that they don't save that classic. And honestly, if I'm All Gamers there, I'm dashing away and letting them save that pistol.
Yeah, just sprinting around in circles, hoping that they just take the classic into the next round, but... A much needed start to this game, considering how the last match went for All Gamers. They will be very happy with winning that pistol, securing that second round, and having a decent buy going into their bonus.
Yeah, I just don't know if Tyloo have told Scales that he's not on Viper anymore and doesn't need to be that lurk, right? I get we're only in round 2, but still, it's a little bit concerning that Masova is trying to take mega timings through it, but instead as this one goes in, it's a massive clash over towards B that does result in a 1-for-1 trade. For now, All Gamers will be happy with that, given the man advantage and taking down Yo-Yo, who was that MVP on last map, right? That was the killer instinct that was there before. They've taken that raid boss down for now.
I just realised an important point you made there. Yo-Yo's gone from Duelist to Viper. Scales has gone from Viper to Sova. Slowly is now playing the Jet. What is going on? The only normality is, I think, 9 body on Sentinel. What is happening?
You spoke about how All Gamers had a 10-man roster. What you didn't actually know is Tyloo play their 5-man roster like a 10-man roster by just switching it up the whole time.
I feel like this has to mess with their team dynamic, right? It's different players taking different timings. Like
Well, I mean, we've seen that with Scales walking through mid with 1 second left on the clock.
And I mean, now feeling like they have to push the pace, dashing through onto site. Slowly's made their way there, but the spike isn't through just yet. But it doesn't matter if Slowly can continue finding these kills. And Kira is left all alone. They're going to be hoping that they have their death note on them, as there is a bit of chip damage done towards Tyloo, but it is a big ask.
Yeah, I mean, you have a Guardian to get back through to this one. It's going to have to be clean shots and clean shots only. You're absolutely spot on. The health pulls do favour the possibility here, but with Slowly on that high position, you're going to get crunched the second you walk in unless you're not looking, which you kind of get that Spidey sense comes through just on time, and Slowly, the Omen player from before, who we wondered if it was going to mess with their dynamic, continues the fragging spree and says, it doesn't matter what agent I play, I'm going to kill you regardless.
Yeah, lovely round there. Really thriving in that chaos. And I'm yet to believe in Tyloo. That was a round that they should have won. This is the first buy round. This is the all-important one. A couple people close to ultimates, and those couple people are both Jets, so it shouldn't have too much of an impact on this round, but it's more about the loser of this round getting a chance to use those knives to cheat the economy a little bit.
Yeah, you can see the pressure that's been made over towards B just to try and most likely get that Killjoy orb, but for all gamers, Kira's trying their best to deny that as well. They know the wall's there, so there will be some pressure.
Oh, you're cheeky,
but this
Spitfires.
Bit out, yeah. Spitfire's taking this aggressive position, ready to jump out.
They know. Sword knows. Sword's watching it, but just doesn't get the timing. But it's slowly the 1 versus 1, and just like that, Tyloo is being picked off a member at a time, and the spike's down. It's down up in rafters, but I don't think All Gamers knows.
Just hold. They throw the smoke just to try and claim that one back up. And you can see for Sword 9 has to try and re-engage with the rest of the team, but his 9 body falls through. Kira does the right thing, backs off, allows the space to be given up, knowing that they have a 5 versus 2. They do not want to give any avenue back into this, but allow the whole site to be taken. You have 5 members that are willing and ready to take it once this fight needs to be done.
This would need to be a momentous round. Yo-Yo, the MVP of the last map, in a powerful position. If they could find some kills, if they could find that perfect timing, and they found 2, and this might be the opportunity they need. Never mind that, it's 3. Yo-Yo has made this not only a winnable round, but a favored round for Tyloo.
They have every chance now, but Yo-Yo has to speed up, has to swing and get these kills, but all of a sudden the shots don't come through, but it's not going to matter as it causes a distraction for Sword 9, who finishes that round off. A sloppy start for Tyloo, but what matters is how the round cooks up at the end, and they will be extortionately happy with that one.
I just can't, my brain cannot comprehend a 5 versus 2, a situation that should have been a gimme for All Gamers. They did everything right, but they just didn't check that one spot that Yo-Yo could be, and it cost them the round.
Let's see how they answer back now. They're in familiar territory of this series, forced onto the lower buys, and it's Sword 9 who finished that last round off to pick up the first kills. And just like that, it seems that the switch has been flicked, and Tyloo are putting themselves back into dominant positions. Yo-Yo, yes, is down to 5 HP off of a contact early on, but ultimately they've split this defense open. All 3 players looking for 1v1s, and when it comes down to that, it's always going to be Tyloo that wins out.
Spitfires. I was going to talk about potential timing, but Yo-Yo's in spawn, essentially being that turret. Yep. Spitfires is on the right side, but they would have to go huge right here.
Yeah, channeled it in our Gordon Ramsay. Flips up, doesn't get the first, only down to 3 blades. And I mean, Yo-Yo's been that human turret, like you said, right? That 5 HP turret just sitting in spawn. Kira's not going to expect this. Like, you didn't expect the position last time, you're not expecting it here.
Like, there's nobody that would expect this, and I think Kira literally just sitting there for exit frags, which, to be honest, is going to be to their benefit, because both of these players have no idea the other one is there.
But you have a Marshal, like, I get that you're saying that they're going to wait for exit frags, but what, you get a kill and then maybe swap it out, and yeah, bye-bye, you're dead. Get 1 kill, but it doesn't matter, we've built up our economy so much that it's irrelevant, and now Spitfires is going to have to go die to the spike once again. I'm worried, so I'm worried that we're starting to see a repeat of Lotus. I'm worried that we got a little bit excited that All Gamers might have been back based off of a pistol round, and now things are starting to quickly fall through.
Well, now is really where we get to see their mental fortitude as a team. We get to see them be tested, because that 2 versus 5 round from Tyloo is going to affect them. It's definitely going to be one where they know that they should have won. 10 times out of 10 you win that in scrims, but as soon as it gets to stage and you're panicking, that's when you start to lose these ones. And their solution to try regain their composure is putting Spitfires on this operator.
Yeah, and this is always one of the win conditions, especially on long angle maps like this. But that Hunter's Fury will try and draw some positions for slowly to capitalise on, but Spitfire stuck their ground, gets that opening kill, and now it's just an embodiment back on, and Shrimp playing around that sniper wall, gets 3 kills, has the Hunter's Fury of their own, but his Scales gets 2 back again. It's down into a 1 versus 2.
Shrimp says, thank you very much for the Viper wall. I will take this opportunity. And with the spike down, Scales has such a big ask. 2 players ready and waiting. An operator trained on this angle. But if they can find the kill, they can find an opportunity. A bit of damage done. The op shot does not land. And there are 2 shock darts to work with, and the kill is there. No, it can't happen. But Spitfires manages to settle the storm. I thought we were about to see another clutch yet again, Veggie.
Yeah, I was ready to jump out my seat and start shouting no way, but I think if we can take anything from that is that Tyloo are very much confident in their abilities in this situation, right? You're in that 1 versus 2, you gathered the spike, you had about a minute left on the clock, you could easily have just rotated through and tried to hold on to B, but instead you opt into the fights, isolating 1v1s by jumping up on boxes, playing this as if it's Mario, thinking that they're on their way to save Princess Peach, but instead they're on their way to get into that next playoff round.
Pit able to be used for Yo-Yo now if they can make their way onto site. And off the back of that, they are deciding to pressure towards B. Getting the pit down here would be huge for them if they can win this round. It's very much a swing round. I feel like the winner of this going to be able to snowball a little bit, not only in the economy, but also that ultimate cycle.
Yeah, op getting revealed thanks to that Killjoy turret, finding its value. But for Tyloo, Viper's pick goes down, but they haven't committed into the spike yet, which is going to be a little bit difficult to deal with. And as you see Ninebody trying to activate late into the game, it's been well aware and watched on. And yet this spike still hasn't come down. The Hunter's Fury being invested in as well to stop this down. And this is the danger of trying to plant in the Viper's pit. There's so much that can stop it. It does eventually go down, but now you've only got 3 bodies left to deal with the 5.
A bit of chip damage has been done though. That Hunter's Fury is taking Yo-Yo and slowly down. So maybe with some good utility usage, they can flush these players out. But as you spoke about, the pit is going to be so hard to combat. Scales just running and gunning their way through up towards heaven. And just found a kill, but Spitfires with that op can't do anything to get into this pit. And as the time just dwindles down, all gamers have to make their move. They're deciding to run in. They've killed the Viper. It's a 1-on-2, but it's Yo-Yo that's still alive. And they're just running in circles. They played that perfectly, but Spitfires just doesn't have the time.
Clutch.
Nope, nowhere near it. The only saving grace, the operator, has still been kept in the hands. You do not need to worry about trying to invest into one of them again, and it's been finding some value, right? But it's the rest of the team that haven't been able to play back of it. Yes, some kills have come in through it, but not really gaining anything. I mean, these shots sometimes are crazy. Like, you just wonder for all gamers what's going on that they're not hitting these consistently, right? Because there is that moment of brilliance for them. It's just about channeling that throughout the rest of the round and making sure that it's not just one-offs that keep this game in close contention.
What on earth? How are you hitting that slowly? What? Just keeps going. Literally 2 running peaks into the operator and somehow wins both fights. I mean, if the last round didn't damage his all gamers mental, this round has just crushed it.
If it looked Haunches just stood up there the whole time. Position not noted. He's waiting
just
for the right
scared.
moment.
Doesn't want to reveal themselves just in case they get killed as well.
Holding the teddy bear like it's bedtime. I've just watched it. What is that shock dart? Just shock darting himself. Trying to make this one a little bit more even foot. Listen, I'll take some damage off myself. Don't worry.
I just can't, man. Slowly doesn't even want to stop there, just wants to get more. It turns out that this player just get kills in bunches. The only rounds they've got kills, they got a 4k, and then a 2k in this, but could have been a 3k if somebody was willing to fight them.
It's just... I mean, at least it's closer than Lotus, right? That is the benefit. At least it's a closer scoring game.
Okay. Yep. I'm all for the cope. Come on, give me more cope.
Have all gamers...
Oh my gosh.
I mean, what? Have they equalised the score from before?
Yeah, they have.
And it's only the first half, so there's a chance. You're telling me there's a chance. And we know how Icebox can go, right? In all seriousness, like this is a map that can be very momentum based. It does swing and go around like a roundabout. All gamers can find themselves back in this very quickly. They don't have the operator to lean on this time, so instead it's going to be that little bit of high pressure from Spitfires trying to capitalise, but the Silver Drone identifies that quickly and does force back off. Now the lockdown has to be allowed to take place, respected throughout, since the Hunter's Fury was used only a couple rounds before. It won't be there to deny it this time.
All ready for a flood retake though. 4 members here. This utility could come in fast and furious. The drone going to spot out one. The issue is though that as soon as you peek this rafters position, there is an operator trained, ready and waiting for you to take that peek. And All Gamers uses their lockdown in return. Shrimp has already found a first pick as well. Shock darts are going to come in, and it's now Tyloo that has to retreat.
Yeah, but at least the spike's planted for them, right? Yes, this lockdown does get you on site, but there should be post-plant utility for Tyloo to capitalise on, and it's going to have to be these gunfights that come through. Ultimately, it only leads Scales with that operator and a shock dart. Misses the first shot, looks to get the shock off. The Hells gets the kill. But is there going to be time? There should be time. There's time. Oh, there's time. There's loads of it. They could have went to the shops and got themselves a can of Monster and a Red Bull with how much time was left there. Scales just not quite having enough in them.
If Scales shot, that is why Valorant is a game of milliseconds. If Scales shot that shock dart a quarter of a second earlier, that is a Tyloo 1 round. And I mean, what a crazy round. All Gamers read that perfectly though. They played it to perfection, backed away off of the lockdown, retook that one quickly, and now slowly picking up the operator yet again. They feel like they can really make an impact with this weapon.
You're wondering why it was on the Silver last round instead, but they're not going to find any success with it here on mid, as nobody's peeking it. You've got the Killjoy set up to just watch through for that. Yes, Kitchen is being watched, but look how aggressive this position from Spitfires is, not wanting to give any space over towards Tyloo. The whole map is under control. Oh my god, the turret doesn't check it. The turret doesn't clear. It slowly will pay with that with their life.
Spitfires is in and out again as quick as they could be. And now they're ready with another angle, another position to peak, wanting to take this fight. The confidence is there this game, and All Gamers needs it. Spitfires putting on a momentous performance so far in this map, carrying All Gamers through some of these rounds.
Yeah, that pressure's done enough to thwart the threat of Tyloo for now. Force them back over towards B, where Del Boy's set up in a respectable position, not wanting to give any 1v1 fights like we've seen before. All Gamers are happy to play as a team and retreat when needed, and that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to allow the space to be given.
Just
some shots.
Yeah. Oh my god, just literally walks through mid, just at random timing, and somehow finds a kill. And it's not even going to stop there. They're looking to swing through smokes again.
Oh my god.
How are Tyloo doing this? It shouldn't be allowed.
It's just like, as Natasha Bedingfield once said, these things are unwritten, and you just cannot allow them to happen. Yes, it's a 2 versus 2 now. Scales on virtually 1 HP. We'll have to try and do it.
Sword's out of there. Sword's just gone. Sword doesn't want to even play that anymore, but the spike not even halved. Hunter's Fury's going to stall them out, but can't land the shot. Scales has got one.
It's done.
And is it done? It's done? No, that's such an anticlimactic end to a round that was just filled with chaos, timings being found back and forth, people swinging smokes when they shouldn't, and oh, both these teams are battling tit for tat, but All Gamers just needs to find some kind of consistency.
It's that exactly. It's just the consistency. Even like, you're not even talking round to round, like you're talking in round for how some of these things are going. Like Spitfire is trying their heart out. 14-4. The closest person behind them, Shrimp, who was the strongest on Lotus, is 8-8, and then after that it dips down so quickly. Meanwhile, Tyloo, nobody's on double digits. Nobody's there. It's just a whole team effort capitalising on some of these errors for All Gamers. It's a painful one to see, but as this round continues and Tyloo look to get themselves on to 7, they need to deal with this operator, which is holding down on B. knowing that pressure is going to be taken through this wall all the meantime, where the prodding stick is attacking on A.
Smoke is good to create those question marks, to make Spitfires unsure of what angle to hold. There could be a potential creep on the other side. Has to keep checking for it. And there is a player there. It is Yo-Yo, the MVP of that last map, looking to have that same presence within this one. Now all gamers are forced to question their hold.
Yeah, they don't have the numbers to rely on this time. Have to just keep trying to throw this smoke on the one-way, relying on any little mistake coming in from Tyloo, but it doesn't look like they're going to make it. They're going to throw some utility over towards A, try and make a distraction, and off of the back of that, they make an outburst, a pour onto B. The spike will come down, and once again, Kira is just going to respect the plant and wait for the rest of the team to peek through.
Was hoping to find a timing there, but it will not be so. Waiting for these rotates to come through. You look at the utility. There is a little bit to use, but with Delby only on a Sheriff, you're not giving them much chance in this round.
I just don't know how you deal with that. Well, you can capitalise on a missed shot, that's for sure. As Kira finds 1 and 2, and Hanch getting the third. This is opened up like a tin of beans.
And now it's just Scales left alone, and they're in the wrong position to defend this. They're yeeting shock darts like they're Legolas. They feel like they're at the archery range. Maybe they can make something hit, but Kira single-handedly winning that round for the team. And we were saying somebody needs to step up. And Kira managed to do so.
Yeah, in a time of need, up steps the hero, puts on the cape and starts flying around the map, picking up all sorts of kills. And honestly, it comes down to the op that was given across to them ends up being the downfall for Tyloo, thinking that they can hold the longer angles, miss the shots, give Hunch and Kira a chance to come through, and they will capitalise. A position where we didn't really look like it in round number 5. Looks like all gamers could tie this score up.
And my gosh, do they need it after that last map decimated on their own map pick. Tyloo currently ahead. And just a reminder for anybody watching, Tyloo has not played this map at all within this stage. So clearly we're hiding something. So far, not looking as strong as their Lotus was, but they still feel confident in themselves as a Hunter's Fury is going to be used. A bit of chip damage, the information nets a kill as well, but it is a site takeover towards A. Players here ready and waiting to try counter this. They're just going to settle and wait for the rotates.
Yeah, and there's no ults available, so it's just going to be a bog standard retake coming in based off the regular utility. Scales ready to try and get that dart to get as much information as possible. The paranoia just to hold it back and keep space, but Kira is now the one to open up these kills even further, and you can see all the utility being thrown is just trying to kill time for this luck from Ninebody to come in. The winning factor has to hit the shots, does get the first, but Spike not planted, has to push again, and this is a common factor. It can just be held down, and Shrimp will do exactly that. Say not today, Forrest. You ran as fast as possible. You get the ace, but it's all irrelevant in the grand scheme.
Look, you might be playing for the round wins. Me and Ninebody, we're playing for the clips. We don't care about the round. We care about the ace. We care about getting the clip in the 1 versus 4. And I feel like a pivotal part to that round is the fact that the opening pick that they got was on Yo-Yo, right? Look, it was on the Viper that had that ultimate. And had Yo-Yo managed to get onto site and put that Viper's pit down, I feel like this is a very different round.
Yeah, but I know we're now moving into the half, but I can't get over the fact that the last 2 rounds we've set up for the luck player to activate late and be that winning factor. And both times it's never been planted for them. That by the time they get there and actually start causing damage, you don't actually get to see the diffuser. I would like to have thought off the back of that last round maybe they would have made an adjustment, but it's all irrelevant now as we do head into half time, tied up a piece. All gamers still holding on to hopes that Haven will be their winning map and it will send them through in this best of 3, but Tyloo just need to hold on to some dominant defense like we've seen them do on Lotus and send us out of this.
And I have a question for you. At what point do you think that Tyloo picking this map is a mistake? Is it, obviously if they win, then great, it's the most giga brain play ever, but let's talk hypothetically that they lose this map. Is it, if it's a close one, are you saying maybe not a mistake? Like what are you thinking? Because like we said before, we haven't seen them play it in this stage, so we don't know what they were going to bring, but also it hasn't really looked that strong so far.
No, I mean, off the bat, I would say if you're not bringing anything fancy into it, it's a mistake, right? I think that was the biggest point that we were talking about when we've seen Icebox being selected, is that you get the joy of bringing in a one and done comp and really throw a surprise into all gamers. But when you're bringing in a composition that's going to be pracked against, you're not throwing anything different. I mean, the biggest thing that they've done so far is have two lurkers on the Viper and Killjoy playing hand in hand together. But ultimately, I don't know. I think it's difficult, right? They've not done anything inspiring. They've not done anything differently. So right off the bat, I'm saying it's a mistake, just even at round one.
Well, let's see if this mistake will cost them and if it will be an all gamers map win, or if it's going to be Tyloo keeping the same dominance that they had in that last map. It's interesting, a heavy setup towards A for this Killjoy. Members here as well. This looks like it could be a flood retake as soon as the spike goes down, but shots already landing as Tyloo has found their way in and slowly really wants to peek out this one way, but it is to their detriment, and as every member runs forward, Tyloo is just ripped to shreds. And in a 2 versus 3, Sword9 and Yo-Yo have to be the heroes.
They do not have the spike down yet, and that's going to give Sword9 a way to get the first kill. And the second comes in, and now, all of a sudden, we're in a 1 versus 1. Haunch has no HP, and Yo-Yo, well, they have this one on a string.
The Sheriff in hand. If there's any weapon you want in a pistol round right here, it is this one. But Yo-Yo, just that one step faster. And I was talking about how it was favoured for all gamers. It looked good for all gamers in that round. But it's just a bit of chaotic play. It's just Tyloo being willing to sprint out of these smokes on weird timings that nets them a few kills and wins them this round.
Yeah, and all gamers back to struggling to win a pistol. I think Tyloo did a really good job there of killing enough time that it forces all gamers not to just get a default plant and play for post plant. It just killed enough time that they were a little bit scared. But now as we head into this next round, you see them respecting the buy. They're not going to force into it like they did in that Lotus side. They'll just play pistols as normal since this game is so close, and they'll hope to punish Yo-Yo's guarding and slowly. I love it. Oh my god, 2 shots, 4 bodies, count them in. This round is done.
What on earth? How do you even... The Outlaw only has 2 bullets, Veggie. That was supposed to be the nerfing factor. It's not as good as the Operator because you only have 2 bullets in it. Nah, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that you only have 2 bullets. Just get collaterals every time. Sure, that's how it works. Yeah, great.
This is the Eco Demon. I mean, they don't even see all 4. That's the best bit, right? Maybe a glimpse of a third body is seen, but incredible value being gained there. Not even just on the fact that the rest of the team keep all their guns, right? But the fact that you don't need to buy any armor coming into this next one, and now all of a sudden this big buy is looking enormous for Tyloo.
Round was done in seconds, and Tyloo looking to push the pace on this as well, hoping that a player would try creep through and lurk towards A, catching someone off guard. But so far, all gamers doesn't want to take that risk. They just want to take their time.
Yeah, we've seen this from Tyloo on the first half, that all gamers are kind of replicating a little bit of prod on one side and then start navigating slowly across to the other. They do have to be scared of that Outlaw, given the fact that there's some half armors on and the chip damage that will come down from Viper walls if they choose to push over onto A. So you can see the caution that's in all gamers' sides just now, and really they've spent all this time so far and not really gained anywhere. They're still just about walking through spawn, trying to hope for a misstep from Tyloo.
I don't want to see them lose confidence. Part of why their defense half was going better this map is they were confident in their ability to win these aim duels. Kira, feels like they can find a timing, and they have done so, but there's a player lying in wait, ready. 9 body just sitting there anticipating the walkthrough. And with 20 seconds left, they're running over towards B. I don't know if they have time for this, Veggie. There's 2 mollies set up.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. You're not going to get there. The mollies will just deny it. You've given Ninebody, who only had a Sheriff, a Phantom in hand, 6 seconds to go. They'll just start to tap the spike, but Shock Darts do a little bit of damage, and it's going to be a chaotic end.
The Spitfires is the one consistent factor for this team in this game, and they're on for an ace already, looking to get these kills, but it doesn't matter. 4 kills on the board, and we said all gamers needed a little bit of consistency, needed to settle, needed to feel that confidence. Well, Spitfires is doing all of that themselves.
It's Spitfires that I was going to say I just don't know how for Tyloo they lose this round, right? But it's just Spitfires goes on a tirade and sets himself mid and doesn't allow the Killjoy to really activate and deny the plant. But you just have to feel like all Ninebody had to do was focus.
20 kills, the next person's on 9, Veggie. If all gamers win this one, it is literally just Spitfires and friends. This player is single-handedly carrying these rounds. And now, after that opening pick, Tyloo just doesn't know what to do. Spitfires is just running at them, so full of confidence, just finding every single kill. They just can't miss right now, Veggie.
Where was this team on Lotus? Where
was this player?
Like, it's a completely rejuvenated side, right? Even for majority of the first half of this map as well, like, just the mistakes after mistakes that kept reoccurring, and all of a sudden they look like the finished article. Yes, they get a couple of kills trying to go hunting there, but that's absolutely acceptable. It's fine. You're going to be able to buy into this next round anyway. And Tyloo didn't know how to deal with that pressure straight after. And as soon as Spitfires get going, I mean, it's one of the most deadly planes for a reason. It flies at you and it will decimate you.
And part of the issue that I'm starting to see here from Tyloo on their defensive holds is they're not set up to break that dart for each other. We're seeing multiple scans come out, giving that information over to all gamers. And if that carries on to be an issue, it could be a very good half for this all gamer squad.
The smoke just is going to cause a little bit of pressure, try and draw out some time, and hopefully utility that all gamers have to use to clear it. But instead, they're happy just to hold it and wait for a player that could mystically pop out, teleporting in. But fortunately for Tyloo, they didn't ascend on it. They're just using them to hold this push back. And you can see that all gamers still are happy just to not have to do anything. They're like, well, that's both your smokes down. Yes, they'll regenerate, but we've got all the time in the world that we need right now.
Yeah, also hoping that maybe they can force out a little bit of utility. If they can get Scales to use that drone to re-clear something, if they can catch somebody being a bit too overeager. Slowly seems to have found the timing now to start creeping forwards. With 45 seconds left on the clock, all gamers starting to get a bit more sure of their decision of where to go.
Yeah, identified that it's not a stack that's on site, which is always the dangerous aspect for an eco and a save round for the opposition, right? Yes, one kill will come in, but it's quickly traded out, and for all gamers, they'll be more than happy with that. They can deal with the flank, but it's the knives that's going to tear them up instead, and suddenly things get a little bit dicey, but as normality starts to seek in, it's Spitfires who's on top.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Spitfire's still alive, you've still got that raid boss to deal with, but 15 seconds left and the spike's not gone down. They have to plant, and the retake's already coming in. I feel like Tyloo doesn't want to let this happen. Slowly he's found one, he's moving forwards, the anime battle's gonna happen, and it's a 1 versus 1. Jet versus Jet, Knives versus Phantom, but Yo-Yo is there. The clutch factor from this side. Tyloo, right when they were down and out, manages to win the round.
Yeah, we were glossing up Spitfires a little bit too much. The opposition Jet was like, wait, hold on, you forgot about Slowly. How can you forget about me? I'm still here, ready to mess up this. Yes, it's a save round for the rest of my team, but I've got these big boy knives that you might have heard of, and I've got something to say.
And I honestly didn't even... Yo-Yo was so slow on that lurk. I didn't even realise. Just such a late activation on the flank. Like, it was such a strange difference with how fast Slowly came in for the retake compared to how slow Yo-Yo went in. And, you know, maybe that's not the best sign if the players are out of sync in terms of their timing, but it nets them a round win at the end of the day.
Yeah, bro's fighting for his life on site, and his teammates just slowly walking around like, do I have any food in the kitchen that I can cook up? I wonder what I'm going to have for dinner. Oh, look, there's a player. Let me do something. It comes in. But so it gets a round done, right? And that's what matters. They do put themselves back into that winning position, and the coaches seem to have seen enough on this defensive side for Tyloo that they feel that a timeout has to be called into recognition to start to identify some of the problems to get them over the finish line. 4 rounds away from sealing this out as a 2-0, but on the other side, only 5 rounds for all gamers is what they need.
5 rounds and then another map after that as well. It's a long battle for all gamers if they want to progress in these playoffs. Whereas for Tyloo, they are close to that finish line. They can feel it, and them taking that timeout when 1 round up shows me that maybe we might see an interesting set play from them here.
They're trying to take that high ground just to deny any information early as possible, but it's all going to be for now. As this push does come over towards A, we look at what ultimates are coming up online for all gamers. They'll be wanting to get this orb, to get the lockdown, to try and secure the site, but for the side of Tyloo, they have the Hunter's Fury to deny it if they can. Scales just has to stay alive and be in a position.
They are ready for it, and the players are rotating over. They know that it's going to be this A site. Hunter's Fury used, like you said. That mixed with the molly as well. They're trying to just get any kind of information. 1 pick has been found. And all gamers still don't have the spike down. They have a bit of space to work with, but no utility left for this retake. They're going to have to rely on their gunfights.
Yeah, this is the problem that Tyloo have. They gave up the site for free, that now you need to deal with the lockdown and the post plant should Hunch decide to use it if things get tricky. They need to be fast and they need to deal with that. That's exactly why 9body's speeding this one up.
And has to find that kill though if the lockdown is to come into effect, and they've managed to do it. They can place it now if they choose to do so, but they're just saving it, not wanting to take that risk. The time is dwindling down, the spike being stuck, but not just yet. They have to get on it. Somebody needs to be there. But Hunch is just going huge, and it's a 1 versus 1 sword. Just has no time to work with, and all gamers, right as they needed it, have managed to stall out for long enough.
They managed to do it and kept that out online, and the fact that they drew the Hunter's Fury out on that round as well, they'll be ecstatic. It's almost like a double round win, right? You managed to get it over the finishing line, you draw out a huge ult that's going to cost you in the future. They'll be happy with that. For Tyloo, they'll be kind of licking their wounds and wondering where it went wrong, especially after the timeout.
No, that spray transfer was unreal. I didn't know that was how Hunch got the kills. What on earth? How are these players so good at this game? But now, like you said, Tyloo going to be forced down, lower weaponry. They have a couple ultimates that they're building towards, but on the flip side, you look at all gamers. Hunter's Fury's online, Lockdown's online, Viper's Pit is 2 away. It is difficult for Tyloo to find some footing in this game.
Yeah, the setup really isn't there for Yo-Yo to use this Viper's Pit. The rest of the team, the guns aren't maximised for it. They will be the agent that is going to be pushed, so it'll be interesting to see if that Viper's Pit gets put down in a reaction just to try and hold on to control of this site. Because there's only the 2 players holding it, so it's difficult. Yes, you've got a couple in backup over by mid, but instead it's just going to be retreat, allow the space once again, and this is a common theme that we're seeing from Tyloo. They're not overly fighting for the space, they're respecting it and giving up trying to play into the retake.
Could end up being to their detriment though. Weaker weaponry, these long-range gunfights are going to suit towards the Vandals and Phantoms, but a couple Guardians online that could be the difference maker.
The lockdown thrown in this round to try and secure it for all gamers, and it's the knives that find the first value, don't find the second.
Looking for more now, but they found their way already to back yellow, but that lockdown goes down. Nobody has been caught, and as the Viper's orb comes up, Dolby just runs in and tries to get away with their life. But it's a 2 versus 2, and as the time dwindles down yet again, Tyloo hasn't found their way onto the spike, and the question is, Veg, are they being a little bit too slow on these retakes?
I think so, right? I think like what we've seen from all gamers at points that was being successful for them on their defensive half was that they were happy to go aggressive and hold positions and then try and escape, right? For Tyloo, they're barely playing any aggressive positions. They've threatened it a couple times, but I mean, it was all kind of for now. Like you would look at the smokes that were placed up early on A to try and threaten that an agent might have pushed into that, but they're playing these retakes and they're all just coming from the one side, right? There's no flank coming in. There's no second route to how it's coming through. It's just one choke point, one way, and when things start to fall apart, when that's happening, it looks like it could just be a GG.
No pressure towards A so far from all gamers. That alarm bot has been placed down so that it can notify them if there's a potential flank. Remember stacking towards... hovering mid and B, I'd say, from the side of Tyloo. Not quite stacking just yet, but you spoke about it before, that Viper's Pit from Yo-Yo could be used in reaction to really lock down this site as soon as any presence is made.
I have a feeling that there's someone around here. The drone's going to go in, get some information and back them up. Yo-Yo tries to get aggressive off the back of it, but it's just going to be all gamers that shut it down immediately. Yes, Scales gets a one trade back, but ultimately position held has to be given up and respected.
There's still 45 seconds left. They could leave if they want, but map control not really in their favor. All gamers only has pressure towards B, only has information on this site. They're going to try stick, but no! The shock dart is enough. 30 seconds left. Hunch is going to be that second player coming in. It's just a relay race of who can get that spike down. But all gamers have managed to do so, and with that Viper's Wall coming up, it will give them a brief bit of respite to be able to back away.
Yeah, a little bit of breath. Use the lockdown, but there's the opposing Hunter's Fury to try and destroy it. It does easily get dispatched, and now slowly has made a move, will get a kill, but in a 2 versus 1, I mean, you cannot see this heading towards the way of Tyloo. Slowly has been an agent that has got a lot over the line, but the gunplay, the tactics, the wiggle of the gun, it's just about killing time as all gamers get themselves onto 11. They are flying in confidence.
All gamers really know how to play these post plants. They are doing it to such great effectiveness. Get the spike down, back away, stall for time. I feel like they're doing such a good job. I made the mistake earlier of being like, do Tyloo need to play faster on retakes? But I feel like they don't even get a chance to, because the utility usage from all gamers is just slowing them down and stopping them from being able to brute force their way into fights.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to how respectful they're being of the space off the start, right? We were seeing them not really challenge anything early on, which means that All Gamers has all this utility to play their post plants. They're not drawing anything out of them early to try and force some angles to be checked or anything. They're given main control for absolutely free. I mean, the best round that we've seen was the second round on just after Pistol, where it was the Outlaw getting 4 kills or 5 kills, right? That's the most aggressive they've been all half. And we've never seen that once again. Like, yes, they've not had enough money to get the operator out online, but that's exactly what we need, that type of aggressive playstyle to force them back and not allow them to have every single bit of utility for post plant.
Well, that difficulty is that the last round they tried to be a bit more aggressive, tried to take some more aggressive fights, but they didn't have the utility backing up. They didn't use that Sova to give that information. They didn't have Jet dashing in, trying to create that space. It was just Yo-Yo dry peeking an angle and hoping that they can maybe win a gunfight.
Yeah, and I think it just shows the desperation that the second timeout's had to be used, and we've not really seen any sign of redemption off that first timeout either. Like, game plan didn't really change, the strategy's been the same, the respect has been the same, and Tyloo just look defeated.
You asked for aggression. This is very aggressive. Slowly's found a little bit of a pocket to sit in. It will be obvious to all gamers that there's a player there. With these Omen smokes going the way they are, it is pretty much a certainty that there is somebody sitting on the other side.
Yeah, it's like a children's playbook, right? You can open it up and you know it's going to be full of colour. You know this player is going to be hidden in this. Why else is this smoke placed in this position? There's no reason for it. It's not been done any other round apart from now. The trick play shall not fall. And I like this smoke that comes in from all gamers, right? It forces that position. It forces the paranoia out early on as well, just to try and retreat for Tyloo back into a safety net.
The benefit is, though, Tyloo has taken a big amount of time off the clock. 35 seconds now, and All Gamers doesn't really have much space to work with. It's going to be a big task to scale up towards yellow now with only 25 seconds left.
Slowly has to do their best to try and deny it, to waste as much time as possible. Sword shooting through, just trying to do what they can, but the Viper's pit for All Gamers now online slowly gets decimated quickly, as the name wouldn't suggest.
The spike has to go down there.
Spike, yeah. Oh, this could be it.
It has to go down. There's 4 seconds left. They have to plant now. There's just not enough time. And the team that was so good at stalling managed to get stalled out.
All Gamers, all Fnatic, more like...
Yo-Yo's not even there.
Yo-Yo wins the round by being on the opposite side, having just left their own Viper's pit.
And I feel like it's a good play from Tyloo, because you ask for them to be aggressive. They push hyper aggressive, hold some really aggressive angles towards that B site, and it means that All Gamers have to use utility to clear them out. They have to wait out those smokes, wait until they can't be refreshed anymore, and then as soon as it gets to taking site, they're like, oh, we have 25 seconds left and nothing to work with.
The craziest part of that is I was right about what they had to do to get the round wins.
That is the concerning part to me. If you start being right, I'm worried. But All Gamers now a very fast split towards B, but they're getting crunched from both sides, and it's an aggressive play from this All Gamers squad, but it will not net them anything in this round.
No, Shrimp is left in a 1 versus 3. We've seen what they can do here before, and they have every opportunity to get themselves back into it. They have the spike. Shock darts available, recon in 5, but there's so much space to clear, and Tyloo are just holding comfortably.
I'm liking Tyloo's aggression in some of these rounds now. The past 2 rounds, it's been this early play that has got them the advantage, and you know, I don't want to call this round just yet. 45 seconds to work with. Shrimp could maybe force out a 1v1. I don't quite know where this player is, but that jiggle is going to give enough info, and 11-11, we are on deuce. This is the all-important round. We'll have to see what the teams are bringing into this one, but if you can win this one out, you give yourself that chance of victory, and you give yourself the mental buff.
Yeah, and for Tyloo, they'll be thinking that they found the winning recipe. The Mary Berry cookbook has come out, and they're cooking up a celebration cake if they can continue this storm. All Gamers using their first time out of this map as well. We've seen 2 get used so early on.
Yeah,
on Lotus, but
I was gonna mention it earlier. It's funny because Tyloo took the timeout at 9-8, and then All Gamers got to 11. It's like Tyloo went, oh, do you want the timeout? Yes, here you are. Talk to your team and beat us in some rounds.
It's crazy. Both the Tyloo, I think the second time out Tyloo used, right, it obviously had some effect that it's actually started to give them some win conditions, whereas I mean, the timeouts for All Gamers without being 2 BM on the first map had 0 success, so Tyloo will be hoping that it's the same on this side and they can just see this one out in the next 2.
All Gamers has to find a way to negate that aggression from Tyloo early on, and they have been just kind of sitting back and letting Tyloo make that aggressive play early on, but we saw 2 rounds ago that they can't really do that anymore, because if you give Tyloo that space, it's making the time tick down, and it's forcing you into situations where you have to make a split-second decision, and it's difficult to play perfect in those scenarios. Yeah,
and I think that's exactly what it is as well, and we've seen All Gamers kind of crumble under that pressure, so the more that you can add to that pressure and the weight that comes alongside that, the stronger you're going to be feeling as your Tyloo. And you can see that aggressive smoke's been put down just to give the idea that some space has been taken, the drone gets dealt with, and all of a sudden no pressure is going to be left on B, and just try and crunch this way over towards A.
Spitfires had a monstrous first half. They have been struggling a little bit in the second half, but some chip damage there. And Hanch gets them the kill that they need through the wall. And it sprung Tyloo into action. All the rotates coming over towards A now. They are just full gamble stacking. They don't even care about that B side of the map. They are certain that it will be here.
Yeah, they've seen all they need to. They know exactly what's going on. But this pause could start to frustrate Tyloo. The dash on with the paranoia opens up some access. It's just going to be a spray, and it's going to have to be Spitfire that goes huge. But no, it's Ninebody who collects the 3 in between. And Tyloo put themselves onto series point just like that. A moment of madness. Snow is what they needed, but sometimes it's the pressure that makes the diamond.
It is just an absolute perfect read from Tyloo. I mean, they know that all gamers aren't the kind of team that fakes a site and moves back. This whole map, the site that they have pressured first, they have ended up committing to, and a 4-person stack just plays to perfection. And now it is all gamers that are on the back foot, that are going to be thinking about what they can do, what they can change, if there's anything that they can do differently. And I feel like if you're going to pull out any kind of funky strat, this is the round to do it for all gamers.
Well, it has to be, right? Back-to-back timeouts, Snow. Back-to-back timeouts. Each round is valuable as the next. And like you said, it is just going to be a one-set play. Get us to overtime. Yeah. Get us another chance.
But if you're the coaching staff, right, you saw that last round, you go, okay, Tyloo knows now that we don't like to fake and move to the other side. In my head, in my monkey brain, we're faking
That's
this
exactly
round.
What you
We're
do.
faking this round.
I mean,
we're faking.
I think like even part of it is that it was just Sova on their own on that other side, right? It was literally just a drone that was trying to give any idea of a fake. If you have half a brain, you're expecting a little bit more than one bit of util to sell a fake, right? You need to throw a little bit more. One single drone isn't going to do the job, and that's exactly why Tyloo just went, okay, pause. There's been absolutely nothing here, but there's a mountain being stacked up on A. Let's just pressure over there instead.
Aggressive play from Tyloo yet again. They've taken forward space and slowly just still fighting it. They know you're there. How are you fighting this still? And the Hunter's Fury to back them up. And just like that, Tyloo has taken this game into their hands, has managed to find control. But no, if Shrimp has anything to say about it, they just want to stop the bleeding. And it's Kira left all alone. Has to be this main protagonist, has to be the hero. The rest of all gamers waiting with bated breath, hoping that this player can find a kill, but no, it will be for naught, and it will be Tyloo progressing in the playoffs.
What an absolute end to the series, Snow. I mean, it just looked so good for all gamers at the start, and then it got so sloppy through at the end. 2-0 is what I said at the start of the round. My prediction comes true. All gamers find themselves having to battle through the lowers if they want to continue this dream run, but instead it's going to be Tyloo who head their way through to meet Billy Gaming.
Oh my gosh, I mean, what a way to do it at the end there. And it was just pure confidence from Slowly. Was literally double scanned, got hit by the drone and the dart, and still just says, nah, I'd win.
It worked, right? I mean, what you can't fault it. It worked. It was just an ad win, and I think that whole defensive half from Tyloo that we've seen was them scared to go aggressive, and then as soon as they realised that that's what they had to do on Icebox, it's when they started winning. But I think for me, the biggest concern, Snow, is that we spoke about how Icebox had been hidden this whole stage, and then when it comes out, it doesn't look phenomenal, right? That's where it's scary. And then you look at the rest of the map pool, it's not as strong either. So they need to kind of clean that up, especially if they want a chance of beating BLG in that next stage.
And it's not all over, right? All gamers, this isn't the end of their playoffs run. It's not the end of the season. They can make that resurgence. And I feel like these two games, you know, you can go away from it and there's a lot to assess. Their attack side on Icebox, a little bit too slow. Lotus, I feel like we don't even need to talk about it that much. It just looked like they were missing shots that they would usually hit. Like, it was just one of those where maybe nerves got the better of them, but they did look a lot better on Icebox.
Yeah, and you wonder if it went to that map 3, would they have continued that improvement look and finally got it over the line. But unfortunately for us, that's not something that we're going to get to see. But we will at least get to see them have a potential chance at redemption. I believe it's against FPX that they fall to in the lower bracket. And that's another team that's going to be hungry for revenge, and FPX have been claiming the scalps of the revenge team so far this stage.
But if historically, you know the veggie maths and how that works out, Tyloo just beat all gamers just beat FPX. So if FPX end up coming through and then finding themselves against Tyloo, surely that's a victory for them.
At this point in time anymore, Snow, I think China just throws all my maths out the window.
Yeah, I know.
If anything we've learned, the fact that almost every single team went 3-2 just makes it every bit so crazy.
Yeah. Everyone can beat everybody, and then it used to be everyone beats everyone and EDG wins, but now it's everyone beats everybody, and who
EDG
knows who
loses.
wins? Yeah, EDG loses.
向右边过来，给我别混了。好，我加烟帮你，你看左边就行。
好，我已经过不去了，我家的3到第2点。好，
刚刚走出来了。
我知道，我在晃。
掉了，
开始。
给你，留给你，我帮你勾。聊这个2枪4个，3枪5个兄弟，
这么高兴？
高兴啊！
I love that. They're nice and calm, working their way through it. Who else was going to be the MVP there? Snow, then slowly coming in. 248 ACS, 154 damage per round, and 5 multi-kills is the thing that sticks out to me there.
Just kills in bunches, and maybe they need to, take a reassessment to their other teams' comps. We didn't get a chance to mention it that much because it was looking so good. But just for anybody that didn't watch, on Lotus, I think all 5 players, apart from Ninebody, played a different style of agent. Slowly was on Omen on Lotus, all of a sudden comes in on Jet, absolutely dominates. I think Yo-Yo was the duelist player, playing on Viper this map, playing super well. This team just seems to have that flexibility, I guess.
Yeah, 5 flex players coming in, you can't go wrong. Which once again just surprises us that we got to see such a default comp on Icebox when you consider it. But hey ho, maybe they all just wanted a turn at playing duelist, and we'll get to see that as it swaps through. Good luck to the rest of the teams in this bracket trying to predict how this Tyloo team are going to play if they're swapping as many roles as this. But I don't know, so I feel like Billy Gaming will be looking forward and kind of licking their lips a little bit as they look through the VODs for these last 2 matches of seeing the potentials that they can capitalise on for this Tyloo squad at least.
Yeah, definite weaknesses that you can look to counter, and especially Billy themselves being one of these very aggressive teams that looks to take advantage of teams that sit back a little bit. They'll be looking at Tyloo and go, okay, you play the same style as us, but are you just Billy from Wish, or are you a team that can contest us?
That's just crazy. That's crazy. As someone ordered you off of Wish and accidentally made their way into the playoffs, well, that's what they'll be thinking of all gamers, at least. It was a different squad that we've seen throughout the whole stage. Today was a little bit disappointing from them. Like we said, a 13-3 not to reflect too negatively on their own map pick is something that they'll need to brush off before that lower bracket run if they want to keep the Disney run in contention. And Snow, I think up next is one of the biggest matches of the whole series, potentially, from what you look at. EDG coming in against DRG. 2 teams that need to go forward. EDG hoping to get themselves into a winning position once again, whereas DRG need to make a hero run if they want to make it into the next stage.
2 teams that I think have interesting playstyles. It should be a good matchup against each other as well. I'm looking forward to see if EDG can kind of make that resurgence, if DRG, has a similar fizzle out in the playoffs to what they've had in the past, or Veggie, I'm just not sure how this one's going to go.
No, but I think we've got a sneak peek at the predictions. I don't think you've submitted yours, so I want to see who you're going to be picking, because I've obviously got number 1 right here, picking up Tyloo, right? You can see you were wrong with your bias over towards AG, saying all gamers are the best team in the world. They're going to win Paris. They're going on a run. They're unstoppable. And you were wrong, right?
I was wrong, but what I am going to be right about now is we are going to be heading over to our interview. And BDOS take it away with the translation.
恭 喜你们进入到了重庆。那其实双方作为 Stage 2都进步非常大的队伍，这是你们在季后赛的第1场比赛相遇，这也是属于天路的第1场季后赛的比赛。那在今天比赛开始之前的话，你有多少信心呢？
大概70%-80%吧。
对自己和对于整个团队还是比较有信心的。
是的。
那其实来到了对方的自选图莲花古城，你们是13-3的大比分领先结束了这张地图。包括说，其实下半场一上来是翻中翻，你们当时前顶和江山的铺设真的非常的赏心悦目。内分是怎样去计划的？
Your second half rounds.
就按的
Yeah, and he says we had a lot of like
因为我们训练赛也很常被翻。
eco wins.
对，可能心里稍微有一点点预设，所以说知道该自己去做什么。
预期之内。
对，预期之内。那再聊一聊，因为其实 Swordknight 这个选手，大家一直都说他对于整个团队的帮助是非常非常关键的嘛。他可能在局内有更好的阅读，包括说也激发每一个人的潜能。你觉得他是怎样去帮助你们的呢？
因为九哥也打了很久，我们做了很久的指挥，他基本上都会在对方在做什么事情。
And he's like, Swordknight has a lot of experience. He has a very good read. Really helps the team.
对，可能一切的战术已经给你们安排好了，只需要握紧。
And like helps us just focus on gunplay.
OK， 那再聊一聊你自己，因为你真的是使用雷兹的好手了，每一次使用雷兹的时候都非常的稳定，包括精彩。那你觉得相比于其他的E2位的话，它有什么样独特的魅力呢？
最主要是惊喜翻腾吧，就是可以用来位移，也可以用来1对1单挑的时候，可以让对方产生。
And he says Slow's raises like as used with the satchels was pretty good.
OK， 那这也是你第一次接受采访，有没有什么话想要对大家说？
And he said I'll be up on the stage more often.
对，希望天路之后能够多多的去赢比赛，也希望在采访。
And that's it for the interview.
比赛加油，重庆见。
谢谢。
那我们本场的赛后采访到这就结束了，但是不要走开，有更加精彩的比赛等待着大家，拜拜。
So I'm excited by that. If they're saying they're going to be up on stage more often, that means they're going to get a little bit more hype, bring a little bit more energy to the game. And it was when they were energetic that we've seen them really come into true form and start firing their way through.
I think funniest thing for me was how they were like, yeah, we win a lot of thrifties in scrims. Why are you playing ecos in scrims all the time? It's not something you should be practicing for. We need to see the gun rounds. We need to see a cleaner pickup on those, because I feel like this region as a whole, it just relies so much on those sheriff gunplay and winning out those thrifties to gain that momentum.
And I wasn't sure if it was all gamers that were saying they'd been practicing the thrifties based off that Lotus map.
Oh, but
listen, I know, and I'm going to cut us off before we end up going too far, because we do have an absolute banger of a series coming up after this. I have been Veggie, Snow has been the Snow Spy, as always. I hope you've enjoyed the All Gamers versus Tyloo, and we're going to sign off for today as we make a little bit of a switch coming into this next series.
Welcome back to the VCT China Playoffs live here at Project Horizon. My name is Crafty and I'm joined by Zobi. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I think this is the first time I'm in the second best of 3 of the day, so it's, you know, a bright and early 7 a.m. instead of 5 a.m., which is amazing. I've got my caffeine, I've got my breakfast since places were actually open, so I am locked and ready for DRG versus EDG, Crafty.
DRG versus EDG said the reigning world champions are looking to actually lock in champions again. And it's quite the journey for them. I mean, they did not make top of their groups. They lost that final match against BLG, but they're still, of course, the favorite in this matchup, do you think?
Ooh, but their opposition, DRG, right? They came out of their group upsetting XLG 2-1. They denied their opportunity to get those Vitals champ points and lock in a spot. So what's to say they can't do the same for EDG?
I mean, it would be a surprise. A welcome one, maybe, for some of the fans out there. I mean, DRG have been looking good so far. They have been looking interesting, to say the least. So, especially after the addition of Ackman. With some interesting comms, some interesting play styles, to say the least. We've seen that Clove being played a lot by them. So, do you think they got an edge here with their sort of surprising play style and surprise comms that EDG are probably not used to play against?
Oh, 100%. But I think we'll have time to break down the rosters a little bit more. Ironically, you were like, oh, EDG's favorite to win. I was like, DRG could pose a chance, but I think we were on opposite sides for our predictions. No, you did. Okay, you weren't. No, I was wondering. You thought you might have gone for both upsets today. Yeah, okay. So we're on the same side for EDG winning today. I after looking at like the DRG, and I do think it's going to be like a 3-mapper. I think it's going to be really, really close. Because DRG is on that kind of strengthening arc right now, it feels like, where Little is going to shut them down. But today especially is such a grudge match against EDG. Because EDG, you know, the same core, 4 out of 5 players, even 5 out of 5 players at times, is what knocked DRG out of both stages of VCT China this year, both kickoff and stage 1. So this is their first time actually meeting in uppers, where it's a little bit less high stakes. They also met once in group stage, but that's a group stage, obviously. So I think for that reason in particular, that also may give DRG that kind of underdog arc, that vengeance, that spirit that we could see in the server.
I mean, it is certainly a redemption arc for DRG. I mean, historically, I think they got 1 win against EDG in like 2024.
Yeah, but this year it's 0-3.
So, yeah, this year it's 0-3. They do not have the best score against EDG. I mean, what team does in China, to be honest? But yes, EDG looking like a favorite. But then again, if we compare EDG from last year's champs throughout the year 2025, I mean, they have been struggling a bit here and there. They didn't make it to Toronto, which came to a surprise, of course, to many. And they also, once again, just got second behind BLG, who are currently looking like they got EDG's number in the direct matchups.
Well, we'll definitely see, and as we kind of discussed prior, championship points are neck and neck at the top of that leaderboard, with XLG and EDG being tied for 13 points apiece. So it's like this match, the next match are so important, kind of locking in that that top, like, oh, if everything goes wrong, you'll have enough points to get by the skin of your teeth. But again, I want to go back to what we mentioned was the history between these two teams, because there have been some slight differences. For that first matchup all the way back at kickoff, it was Simon over GNE, but then the other 2 times it was just full 5. But it's actually DRG that had those big changes, right? That transition from T-Virus Luke to Kongshu to then now the current version that you mentioned with Ackman, who brings a very interesting agent pool that has kind of forced them to diversify. But they've been so confident in that diversification. They've set compositions and they have not changed the entire stage, win or loss. Versus EDG has been going through this like identity crisis, big changes left, right, and center about what compositions they want they want this new form to be in a changing meta.
Oh, most definitely, especially like with a new map pool that has a map like Road that we've seen from them again. But either way, I mean, EDG they certainly have something to prove here. And DRG
for sure.
Probably have nothing to lose. I mean, we were talking about it, especially when looking at the bracket here. You mentioned that earlier. If EDG wins this, they are up against XLG, who they're currently tied with in terms of the champions points. And exactly, it would be a rematch.
If DRG win as well, it would be a rematch directly from the group stage, which I think would be that would be so interesting to have, right? Because then they can deny that one champ point needed for XLG again. Which I think would be like it's like the what is it? It's funny that happened twice, but I would have two Nichols kind of situation. And outside of that, I mean, I just want to look back at this match because again, we definitely have like our work cut out for us because it is like kind of like a group that's coming into their own. We talked about Aukman, you know, rookie nerf still getting out of the way versus it's this squad that's still trying to uplift key players like Kong, who maybe had a rougher showing post champs, right? Obviously being that MVP on the global stage. And I think that's where a lot of the changes have come out of, right? The picking up particularly of, you know, of a double duelist per se, so they don't have as much pressure to get that first blood. Or players like Nobody, who not just is shot calling, but is your third highest KD player from the group stage on a flex support role. Like, it is absurd to look at how well-rounded this squad is, but it goes back to, again, such an anti-meta composition like nature that DRG has.
And we're looking at
there it is.
EDG is Chijo, Kong, Gianni, Nobody, and Smoggy. We're talking about him, hyping them up. On the other side, Dragon Ranger Gaming, Lukashu, Aukman, Nick, Spirit, and Flexen, who are, probably still a somewhat underrated team here in China.
For sure.
But they could certainly make the run for it.
And I mean, too, there's a lot of players to keep an eye out on the team of DRG as well. Obviously, we just highlighted the EDG players. For the side of DRG, I'm looking at Vukashu, like an insane Sentinel player, a very high statistical rating. But I'm also looking at some of these kind of support players. Spirit, in particular, has kind of flew under the radar on these like secondary duelist roles, like the Reyna, the Yoru, that kind of complements the Aukman Clove. And then Nick as well. I think Nathan put it great in a press conference. Just the kind of stability their breach in particular brings, which post nerf, you know, casualty of the Taeho nerfs kind of had its impact there. And we can already see, again, just like the broadcast is highlighting, we're gonna have an insane head-to-head between these kind of Sentinel players.
Yeah, this is definitely a matchup to watch. And I mean, Vukashu's numbers look incredible here, even though it's leading that last scoreline up. I didn't see what that was. I think it was clutch potential. But I mean, both of these players are, I mean, all of these players on the server, to be honest, are exceptional. I mean, we are still talking about the reigning world champions EDG. We're talking about how long these players have been sticking together, or at least some of these players, with only like Jenny being the newest addition here. So they are still the powerhouse in China, probably, I mean, next to BLG. So do you think that the pressure is on for them right now, especially after they missed Toronto, and like people have been saying they're struggling right now and they're not at their championship form just yet, or do you think they're probably not even affected by stuff like that?
I mean, I think this is a team, right? You think about like before champs, you think about like back when they were at like making their run, even in LA, right? Before they were those champs winners. And I think those are the times you look back to. And I think these are players that recognize they're going to have highs, they're going to have lows, especially when you do have these players that have been together for so long. So I feel like they in particular might be independent of that pressure a little bit. Like they would be lying if they said there wasn't some pressure, but I don't think it affects them to that certain degree. They know that like their opportunities are fleeting. They know that when they have it in their grasp, they need to lock in. And that's what we're kind of seeing now is that evolution. And they've had that stability, right? They just fell short of Toronto. It is, again, most teams are focused towards champs, are focused towards that biggest trophy of the year, and I think EDG is no exception. And we see that, right, from being right now leading alongside XLG in champs points, regardless of those international performances so far this year.
And on the other side, I mean, DRG, if they wanna made champs, they would have to end up third at least. I mean, that's quite the run for them, especially when looking at what they're coming up against. I mean, we're talking about XLG as well, so they would have to make sort of a miracle run here. And of course, all the Wolves fans in the chat are probably hoping that they just go out 0-2.
I'll raise my hand about that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a tragic storyline, but it looks like the walkouts are ready as we are actually seeing DRG. I mean, these players, they are hungry, but are they hungry enough to take down the giants of EDG?
Yeah, definitely a rocky way to kickstart your playoffs journey, being up against the reigning champs on the international stage. But again, if there's a team that can do it, I think this is one of those teams that has been super well-rounded. They've gotten those reps in. I mean, there wasn't a single group stage match that was one-sided that they went into. All three mappers, all thrown into the gauntlet, win or loss. And I think that's what has given them that kind of confidence and particularly gotten those Aukman nerves out and primed for playoffs. And that is what we're going to have to see coming into the server today. Nathan mentioned, again, individual players step up when they need to. They win pivotal swing rounds. And against a team like EDG that is so kind of gun-ho off the start, they want to support and keep players like Kong Kong alive to have that lasting impact. You are going to need to be on point mechanically in the server to have an opportunity or even a chance at this series.
Spirit, for hyping him up, sort of the unsung hero of this team so far, complimenting the rookie Aukman with his somewhat unconventional duelist picks every now and then. And finally,
ooh.
Like,
I like the blue hair. It complements the logo. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. That looks so fire.
And Flexen, I mean, another player, really, really strong IGL there, especially to go up against somebody like Nobody. You do have obviously Nick taking some of those mid-rounding calls under their wing as well as that kind of support initiator on roles like the Breach. And Nathan, a player that we haven't even gotten to talk to, who was once an EDG player, right? Playing alongside Nobody, playing along Chi-Chu. So have observed the changes for them. And I could see you having like a really good read coming in out of a timeout against that IGL because you played in the server with them. So those are the things I'm going to be looking at, especially if we see, you know, DRG on their down turn, is if we get that hard head-to-head raid. But this is their opposition, EDG, fan favorites obviously because they are known to have put VCT China as a region on the map, and they're looking to continue that dominance with this playoffs run.
I mean, I guess that's what happens when you play a game for so long that your teammates actually become coaches for opposing teams.
Yeah.
That's how, when you know that you've been
2022.
Yeah, that's when you know that you've been sticking with a team for way longer than usual in esports. But yeah, of course, all of these players still exceptional, even though they've been around for so long. And only Jenny, the newest edition, still got something to prove. Might be raising another trophy as well for this organization.
And I really like that comparison as well, right? DRG flexing that they have these academy players that came up through their training program and are now making their kind of showing in the tier 1 space. Then you're up against players like Jenny, who was a substitute for EDG for a while, kind of was brought out during, again, kickoff and parts of that first stage. It's Simon come back, leave, and it's just, again, this kind of ZJC as well. It's just this kind of rotary to see what is the best EDG they can bring to both VCT China playoffs and hopefully that international stage in Paris.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's what you got to do as an organization like EDG, especially when you've been sticking with the same players for so many years. But as soon as you realize, okay, the meta might be shifting or we might not perform as well as we used to, of course, these changes and these switch rounds actually help them to get back on track. They might not be there just yet, but I mean, they're certainly looking strong again here in stage 2. And I mean, they got champions on the line now. They got to bring it.
They do. And we were so hyped in the green room waiting to see what this map beta was going to look like. Because again, they have pretty extensive best of 3 history against each other. We've seen both of these teams really leverage the entire map pool. And we are going to get Lotus, Corrode, and Ascent. Now, Well, I said I'm not a fan of ending on maps like Ascent Haven. These two teams are the exception to that rule, I think, just because we've seen them face off on that map so many times. But that Corrode and that EDG pick is absurd, right? The Dest mentioned it. I'm going to mention it now. They have played it 3 times. They have won it 3 times. And each time, it's been with different compositions. So that versus, you know, Nathan mentioning that maybe we'll see some different compositions out of DRG in the playoffs that haven't been shown in the group stage means that we are set up for a spicy series where it's going to be maybe both teams having a little bit more difficulty reading into each other's movements.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other hand, we do get that first map pick Lotus from DRG, a map that I think it's actually the most played map in Stage 2 so far, alongside Ascent, yeah, that is.
4 times.
But they only won 2 of those 4 times. And still, you've been mentioning that earlier, they are sticking with their comms, at least throughout group stage. They have not changed up a single composition so far for any map. But we might be seeing something new here in playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a bait you give just to the press as well to keep the opposition thinking, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make any changes, because again, it was more just tweaking and seeing if that really was required from this team or not. And they said it was more just to keep people guessing. And here we go, taking our first look at the agent select, and I'm still seeing again that Ackman Spirit combo, that double duelist. But what I was really looking forward to actually between these two teams was the double duelist head to head on both sides, right? That was that major adjustment, because nobody's been such a high stakes fragger, was them kind of shifting gears so that Kong Kong didn't feel the pressure solo.
Yes, it is the same composition that they've been running throughout group stage. On the other hand, yeah, you mentioned it, the other double duelist duo between Kong Kong and Nobody opting for the raise here. Also the comp that they ran once, I believe, in group stage.
For which team?
If I recall correctly, for EDG. I think,
yeah, so again, they switched from a double controller solo Neon, right, for Kong Kong. And again, Kong Kong was having some difficulties on, it's like hit or miss, you know, performance day to day on that Neon. And they just found, like you mentioned, it was still a loss, but I think it was a better success with the double duelist, and they wanted to continue workshopping that. And that was that against Billy as well, right? 6-13 to end off the stage. So I don't think they wanted to use it as a true kind of interpretation of if it'll function the way they want it to. And it's also, you know, meat aggression, fire when you're up against a comp just like what DRG is bringing to the table.
You get an EDG attack start though, but some questions towards Sand Center already by DRG. EDG looking good though. Spirit does not take the TP and goes down for it.
I'm surprised maybe she's sticking around, but soon flushed out regardless by the utility here. It is going to be disadvantaged retake this time around for DRG. The C site plant should be secured.
They're already taking so much space on side as well. Positioning rather aggressively. Not taking the bait towards Waterfall though. Cashew ready with support. He got in Nick, but the health bars are low and they're winning the 1v1s right now. Chichu perfectly set up to win both the duel in Waterfalls, and he's ready for Nick as well. Pissed around, goes over to them.
And I mean, like you mentioned, it is kind of unfortunate that you lose an early player trying to do that fight, trying to leverage the Yoru kit, and we should even try to stuck around just to get some additional tip damage. So you're already disadvantaged kind of in that retake situation here a little bit, but all in all, I think I should respect there, like, simultaneously to both sides. The fact that EDG didn't aggress into water, didn't aggress into CT, and gave that time to EDG. And oh, look at that! Kong 2,000 kills off of the first blood here to kick off that pistol. That is absurd that we get to celebrate that early on. The only player in VCT China to do so, too, Crafty.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, it just gets to show not only how good this player is, but also how long he's been sticking around already. I remember last week we had, or like the last week of regular season, we had Titan Esports reach 5,000 kills as an organization. This man alone has 2,000 under his belt.
And not just that, we're seeing other regions, right? They're the ones reaching 2,000 kills for players in Americas and EMEA. And then you think about the fact that the VCT China region didn't exist till, you know, a few years after.
Exactly.
So he wasn't competing for that entire time. But let's get back to the game. We celebrated that enough, and now we've got to celebrate Nobody, who was deposited right by that initial util over towards Mount. And then all that pressure, that noise that was generated by EDG over towards A, fully convinced the stack of players that was there to stay. So Orchestra at this point, just waiting, cutting any loose ends off, and I'm expecting to see, you know, maybe a 5-strong die to the spike attempt, but
yeah,
we gotta get them over here first.
They're taking their time rotating over through spawn right now, and as you said, Orchestra just making sure he's not being wrapped around through mid. But Kong Kong, he's still hungry. Some kills. Might get 1 or 2. Also has some support here now. But Smoggy gets 2, gets 3. Konka goes down though, but they at least get a couple more kills, a couple more ult points under their belts. While the rest of DRG executes the spike. They actually secured a weapon here.
The Vandal. That was in Kong Kong's hands, which I don't think it was necessarily wrong for Kong Kong to be fighting up there when you are 3 orbs already off from your showstopper and you really want that pivotal tool to come into this 3rd round conversion attempt. But oh, the fact that Smoggy eats those kills and then you lose the Vandal is just not a pretty sight. And now it feels like those chances at conversion, I don't say they're pretty much dashed, especially when we have an Omen and a Raze with judges in hand, but definitely a weaker chance at conversion.
Still look for an explosive execute, of course, with those satchels and Dutch in hand. Some of them get Spirit though. This time he does not take the TP again and pays for it. Nobody on the other hand already on site gets a dink as well. Health bar so low, and Nick is falling. They're just running in 1 by 1, and EDG get their easiest bonus round they could ask for.
Yeah, I mean, that Fade utility was brilliant, right? You've got the decay on the 2 players tucked away there in blue room, and like you mentioned, that desynchronization between the players really does not help their case when they're trying to hold on to this B site. I kind of wish they kind of gave the same consideration they did the first 2 rounds into this bonus here, right? Like, Spirit fighting forward completely normally, shut down the machine that is Kong Kong here, but I wish they just kind of gave up the space once they realized it was really hard to hold on to it and had a more coordinated attempt. And don't see that. You don't see your first round on the board, and now money broken means you've got to rely on stacks of players.
I mean, they push out on C, at least take that space aggressively again. Then this round as well. The rest of the players are holding on to that A side. Didn't quite see whether they get to destroy or B already, but they eat first shot from Ahmed. Beautiful sheriff shot there. Find first blood.
And again, the awareness from EDG with this outlaw in hand. Kong Kong also going to get the showstopper online here. And again, they don't want to give these weapons over, so you mentioned that first sheriff kill. Yup, that's nice, but I'm really looking towards these 2 C players. Look at this. Bokushu, that Yoru, Spirit, in a position, you know, either fight through above. There's that now information off the Arcro, so they can plan accordingly for that variable, for that occurrence, and let's see if it's enough to handle it.
Yeah, knowledge is there, but the shots are as well for EDG. Of course, that weapon advantage pays off in the end. Can't really go for the backstab as well without them knowing. Thanks to the Vice wall. Like, it's gonna be a late retake here. Kong Kong actually take that space. That's a beautiful paranoia, and Ahmed gets a kill for it. 3 on site, but the showstopper is invested as well, and it's just Flaxen left alive. Beautiful from EDG in another round for them.
Yeah, I mean, coordinated attempt that we asked for out of DRG, but again, only 1 hero rifle in hand on a bonus round makes it very difficult to convert. And again, I really wish this mound pressure had resulted in more, but that stun from Nick just comes in ever so late. And another win you could say for DRG is getting that showstopper out, right? You saw that they really didn't want to invest it there. They knew it was an eco. So wins where you can get them, but like you mentioned, EDG just really clean again, covering all their bases with the early arc grows over towards C reclear into that B exec. They're understanding where risks are across the map and are diverting around them beautifully, which is where I think DRG is now taking this timeout into consideration. I mean, being down 0-4, not a great way to start your map pick, as a reminder here.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to what do we want to switch up?
Yeah, it is a very early timeout here from DRG, but I do like that.
Needed.
It is much needed. And as you said, EDG sort of have been playing the map beautifully so far in these first couple rounds, without really relying too much on their explosiveness right now of that double duelist comp. Sort of got the opening most of the time and still found out they needed to be. What did I miss on screen?
No, I can't read Chetty's, but I'm assuming they had to do with 2,000 kills for Kong Kong, and
I mean, they
something
got that
of
sign ready
that.
so quick.
Yeah, something of that degree would be my guess, and our amazing translators will be on the case for us very shortly. But here you mentioned double duelist, and once again, it has been overwhelmed by the sheer speed of EDG, right? They've only been unlocked as more ultimates come online. Nightfall for the exec. Again, no chance for Spirit to TP out, and Vokushi just never has a chance to stick around on the site he wants to anchor.
Spirit doesn't really game so far. Once again, he goes down, and yet he just pushes into Halls, but is traded by Ackman. He's helping out from Waterfalls. Uncle with the operator in hand, holding that close angle. He wants to stay on site. The Rolling Thunder hits absolutely nothing, but it forces him to fall back onto sand. They're smoked off. They use that. They at least gonna have to use the flash. Is good, but Flexen is there, and it looks like they're just gonna try to save the operator. Kong Kong gets that last kill, but it's the first round for DRG, and he goes down as well.
Wow, I mean, an interesting decision, I think, given the composition that EDG is running, to have that many players fall off site to play towards Mound, and really nice cycling of smoked into fast lane just so you get a player early on to that spike. And I mean, the fact they're able to stabilize in that retake, I think, was a big point of the discussion of the timeout, because we saw, again, a close bonus conversion attempt on the B retake. They were so close, but so far kind of mentality there. So cleaning things up here, playing utility very coordinated there to shut down that re-entry. Now, Spirit, again, you're going to be tested. Let's see if you can get a first blood this time.
And he takes the TP. Finally. I think this is the first TP he's actually taken on this map so far. But
I think he's about even, though, with Kong Kong in terms of the opening confrontations. We saw him win one over towards B-main, one there. So we're at least 2-2. I don't know where the tiebreaker is in that. It might be Kong Kong's way, I think, off the pistol, but all in all, now it's Flexen that's going to be receiving a lot of the pressure. Stepped up last round, and thanks to Nick, won't have to just yet over towards A. But again, this is what we look at, right? Look at the minimap. It's that Yoru. It's that double duelist, not being used, like you mentioned, for explosivity, but for plan Bs, right? Or in this case, plan C. They want to follow through here with less than a minute left.
Interesting wires used there as well.
Like the high-low. Fake?
They just missed the timing. The fake, you mentioned it, on B with the Steel Garden. And it is a great paranoia to at least force both. Wait, but through the tripwire, he gets it. Lukashu with the opening, and I don't think they can actually work with this. It's a 2v5, and they might just save their guns.
That is a difficult position to be in, and DRG start to hit that vein of consistency following the timeout really, really clean. We're seeing the benefits that are reaped from Spirit not getting first blooded, from staying alive a little bit later into the round. And hand in hand with Vokushu of all players is not a surprise, right? Even on the group stage, they were like 13th and 14th in ACS. Like, they have been there as this unit, as this duo that has gotten DRG through difficult moments. And now, Flexen saying, I need to do some flexing. I may have gotten our clutch for our first round with some multi-kills, but I need to eat these ecos. Don't let them save their weapons, and I want an upgrade.
Yeah, beautiful round from DRG.
Wow. The
opener from Spirit. That tripwire. beautiful there from Retax. I mean, it is that C-side that actually looked pretty good in these last rounds on DRG. Both Cashew and Spirit working for its end every single time, and also Rubble still
look at that arc rose. That is such a good arc rose, and I really want to see it in action, but for the time being, looks like they're trying to fake it as one person just lurking through it, when in reality it's the entire team pulling up. And again, it's Kong Kong on the other end of a first blood, and they just cannot get through this oppressive breach utility, Nick, that then Flexit is also playing off of here. And while the arc rose that I mentioned allows them to finally puncture through, the job is not done yet. Crafty.
It is over. It is done. But it is for DRG. Third round for them. They can't even get to Rubble.
No.
What a aggressive hold there from DRG. They're looking like a different team compared to these first couple rounds.
And again, I don't want to place too much pressure on Kong here, but a big difference has been he's been first blooded now 2 rounds in a row, right?
Yeah.
And that goes back to, again, what I mentioned was this composition shift to a double duelist, remove some pressure off of him. And that goes back to, like, yes, he has really high ACS, yes, he has really strong, like, kills per round, first bloods, but he also has the highest first death per round rate because he is the spearhead for all of these engagements. And so I think for EDG here, they have a really good, like, again, fallback in place in terms of nobody in these Yoru lurks. But I think what they're now trying to discuss here is, okay, how can we increase the conversion on those fallbacks, or how can we refight to reclaim space if Kong Kong does fall? Because we've seen now, I think, twice that the Yoru lurk worked out in getting a site plant secured. And the other times when it's been, okay, nobody trying to refight to claim space off, like we saw Chi-Chu's flash there, that's not what's working out. So, again, just how to re-engage or how to set Kong Kong better up so he's not just fighting alone in some of these situations.
I mean, he did have a good start to the map.
Yeah, of course.
Been falling off ever since that timeout from DRG. They've been tremendously. Looks like it's another
Stingers, sheriffs. Well, we'll see the change from the timeout following this round, but even then, that means DRG likely to tie things up here unless things get dicey or antsy.
They're immediately throwing towards it for speed. Helping out Spirit. He does get first blood again. Doesn't even need to take the TP to get out. EDG at least get some Rubble control here.
For free,
early
too.
On.
No util invested. But that's exactly what DRG wanted. They wanted to trap them on the site with Vokushu. But in reality, it's Kong Kong who's broken through over towards Blue Room. And that's where, again, players like Flexin have to be the difference makers.
Chi-Chu got confused there. Hit by the tripwire and also by the paranoia. Can really get rid of it. But it is still a 2v2. Both Yanni and Smoggy got their upgrades. They're taking a lot of space towards C as well, not knowing that the rest of DRG is actually coming from A. They surely expected it should be sitting on C again. But it is planted for C-Link. It's a tough one. Beautiful paranoia. Keep them away a little further, but they do still have at least one smoke ready. Doesn't stick it, and Gianni is there to claim the prize. 5th round for EDG following their timeout.
And 2 Stinger and Sheriff buy at that's able to convert. I think that feels like more of a misread as to what EDG was going to try or was going to fix, right? Because we did see them very, very B-centric, right? Just like the last bonus was, or that 3rd round conversion was. When you have nobody holding that main space, and EDG identified and took full advantage of that gap. So I don't want DRG to get like too shaken up by that. They're going back to exactly what they've been doing off rip. I think that is the answer here, but it's EDG that we wanted to see changes once weapons got in hand. Now we get to see what that looks like over towards this C fight.
He does have a showstopper available. They wanted to explode on site if they do check. B main first, using that door. Didn't quite see who picked up the ult over there, but I guess it could have been nobody. It's also only just one ult point away.
Okay, the Nova player's been left deposited deep A. Again, this attempt where I think they want to feign a lot of pressure to pull rotations over to A when their real goal is late into the round. They're going to conclude on C. They haven't gotten any kills. They haven't gotten any draws over here. I don't even think they realize that Spirit is posted up with the operator either. So I think that they're going to run out of time here unless they shut down this duo again on the C site.
Yeah, that breach stun alone basically pushed them away from A, right into the hands.
Oh.
Oof. He gets the opening and immediately answers the dimensional drift with his own. Flash goes wide though. And Achman is just an absolute menace. Onside slides in, but Smoggy still gets the kill. Spirit is there, exiting his ult to find the trade. And what a round from DRG.
Yeah, I said that util and that rotation, right? The arc rows over the smokes over towards A didn't do a good job at selling the fake. Yeah, Achman was kind of holding that C link B main line so that they could have this fast rotation off the high gear. They could respond off the information from the dimensional drift, play off of Vokashu's informational trips, and they coordinated all those moving parts to a T to shut down that buy round for EDG to keep things within contention. And once again, EDG, money-wise, on the ropes, but they have ults to start to patch it up, and that's what they're going to use to try and break through this A main hold this time, once and for all.
Once again, DRG immediately trying to escape. Sailing. They actually use it with overdrive and invested as well. But Showstopper finds Vokashu. They at least get Tree. Achman with awkward there on spot, does get traded. And Jenny is allowed to get a second one. No TP available for Spirit. Jenny with the 3K. And it's a blockbath on A main. The 3 of EDG survive and if you get the plan, and it doesn't look like Flaxen be able to convert this. You could use the TP here though. And he does.
Oh, and I don't think Jenny was an audio radius either. Doesn't seem to be too aware, but the reposition shows otherwise. And, woo, the confidence, the celebration, all of that lines up with EDG getting that comfortable 6th on the half. And again, even though they had a money deficit, they utilized those ults really, really well just to make up that additional gap. And it helps that one of those players that did have the weapon in hand was able to frag out to this degree. But how, you know, Crafty, it's our first time working together. How many rounds do you think are needed on an attack-sided Lotus to be comfortable? You need an 8-4 here? A 7-5?
Well, I guess... Wait, attack rounds, you mean?
Attack rounds, yeah. EDG, 3 sites, attack-sided.
Yeah, I think they're actually 7. I mean, especially as a team like EDG. I mean, we've seen... Seems like
they're on par for that.
Ones, but oh my god,
they
what
were
is Flaxen doing?
They're trying to clutch up.
On the back of that sheriff.
The cancel!
And oh my god, the cancel. Does he wait for it? No, it doesn't have to trigger discipline. But he still gets no Chichu in the 1v1.
Oh, the immediate regret there, Crafty, as well. Saying, I should have had the trigger discipline. I should have known that both were there on the dark cover side. You can see he's kicking himself for that decision and that follow through. That should have been the tipping point. That should have been the 7th round denied there as well. And I mean, the fact that it comes off of 2 share shots, the collected weapon, like that was just beautiful paranoia and isolation there. Yeah. Oh, look at that. God, the drop smoke too, while taking these 3 engagements in quick succession. Like, that is absurd.
Flexen is such a good player. Such a good omen. Almost with the ace there. Clutch around for his team. Still a lot of util invested to fight for Rumble here, but nobody this time around getting the kills. The flash is not good. Nig's right there. Gets 2 more, gets a 3rd one. Nightfall invested now in from Smoggy. It is a 2v1. But Vokashu already in a good spot. Smoggy just barely able to cross there.
They get 1 here. They can neural theft and hopefully clutch out the other. Smoggy just gets the timing, it's missed! And there it is immediately, like I mentioned, neural theft invested. You know Chichu's playing off sight!
Oh my!
And of course, the quick, we saw that Guardian action over on C through a wall. Of course, when he has wall hacks off the neural theft, he can get the job done.
He needs 1 tick And just the slightest chance to get that kill, and he immediately finds
Poor
the
nobody.
shot. I mean, Nick as well.
Wow. That's why they are the highest
snaps. Yeah,
statistical player for this team.
I mean,
but okay, I hear you're 7-5 that you propped.
7-5. 7-5 is all they need. I mean,
I'm an 8-4 person on this map, especially when both sides have two duelists. I think it's only exemplified. I also think here, right, DRG won a pistol and suddenly they're right back into the fight, right? And that's something else, is it felt a little uncharacteristic, right, for it to be an 0-4 start for any team, right? And so if they can just get out of that hole as well, then I think that we can have a lot closer of a match or start to the half than we had prior. And I mean, just looking at the highlights from the first half as well, right? We kind of saw that dichotomy between, okay, when Spirit's having a good map, then DRG's having a good map. When Kong Kong's having a good map, then EDG's having a good map. And then the impact that the other players have to kind of facilitate that as well. And clutch up key moments from Jetty to then the attempts, right, of players that we're seeing here, like, you know, Flexin. And I mean...
Yeah. I mean, it has been these controller players...
Yeah.
That actually kind of stole away the spotlight here. But still, I mean, I'm with you. I am an 8-4 person regarding Lotus as a map, but when it comes to EDG, I mean, we're talking about the reigning world champions here. And I feel like they can get away with 7.
Not wrong to that degree. I mean, started at 4. If you did 4 here, you're sitting at 11, almost knocking on map point for your opponent's pick as well. But I do think that this is the half where we'll see again that breach particularly shine, right? Nick ended with a nice multi-kill over towards the end of the half, but all in all, I do think that when you actually get to the choice to control the tempo, that's where even Nathan says this composition shines. Right? Between the two entries, the two carries, as he quoted it, and this breach. And I cannot wait to see this trio in action.
Already taken a lot of space. It's similar to what we've seen from DRG in that pistol round. It's just nobody by himself. Get out. He does take the TP, and Chicha is there, even gets the dink there. Onto Ackman. He's traded. Nobody only getting one more kill. 3v3. Smoggy already waiting in the wings, but Wisering takes time. Is out for the swing with Jenny. Another trade. Spike still not planted, and what a shot there from Jenny. What is he doing? His classic works differently to mine. 3K for him again.
And I'm not gonna lie, to me that round just looked like DRG overthought. They weren't confident in their initial play, right? They had C control. And we go back to then comparing these two pistols between EDG and DRG, right? They both took C control. They both had it, right? I think EDG had a few more numbers on their side here, but then they also made that decision again to just set up crossfires to wait for the retake from EDG. Or sorry, from DRG prior. And they just didn't make that decision this time around. They took those fights before Spike was even planted, right? Maybe Nick didn't even know he had the Spike in hand. And that's what cost him the round. And now EDG's taking that confidence in stride and are looking to continue.
It is a big retake here from DRG. Great util usage there. Stun even towards A-Link. Move away to fast retake. 5-man push here! But Kong Kong takes them all. 3 for him. And the rest of the team follows. They don't lose a single gun. What a second round here.
It's really funny too, because I was talking about how I was gonna enjoy seeing the double duelist against each other here, and it feels like the first few rounds for both halves have looked very similar from the attack perspective, right? Both had CXX, both had quick Bs on the version rounds. The only glaring difference I now see is a Kong Kong 3rd round operator. And I think that could spell some disaster for this CXX that DRG might just be walking right into if they're not careful. I mean, Flash points out, but the one-wave for, that's what the Omen's for. Oh!
And they both go down immediately. in the crossfire. Well, that operator certainly did have 0 impact here. Chichu trying to go for a sneaky peek here through the smoke, but is traded immediately by Flaxen. And side well under control for DRG.
Yeah, confident, simplified. That was the game plan, and it works this time. No overthinking. Now you just got 2 more players to worry about that are kind of fragmented, a little delayed. Looking like they're not fully sold on playing for this round. More looking for impact, exits, whatever they can take. So could just be waiting for the initiator utility to recycle Haunt. Going in.
Only one player destroyed. They know that Aquan is there to get him.
Wow.
Nick just immediately follows it up with 2 quick headshots. Great round from DRG. Great ration there towards C again against the operator.
A really good understanding of how that C hold was going to work with or without an operator. Confidence in challenging it. They win it outright here. And compared to the previous half, we don't really have too many ultimates online right out the gate here into the 4th like we did prior, like the showstopper that was used for conversion. And I think that's going to make things a little bit tamer, but when you're fighting through a trap over towards A, it's going to be anything but crafty.
Flaxen only gets the 1. The stinger from Kong Kong. Find that trade. Can Ahmed actually make it work though? It's a beautiful 3K supported there by the paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
Or by the stun rather. And all of a sudden it's just Chichu against the world.
Hey, pretty sure highlighted the Sentinel head-to-head. That looks like what we would get first here from Bokushu's contact, but I love that they're not trying to let anybody take a solo fight, right? Playing off the door, timing. Akman was going to play tit for tat, trade for trade, but instead just takes the full spotlight. 4 kills on the round. That should be an overdrive as well to have in the back pocket for a rainy day moving forward. But again, it's Nick and his ability to set up no matter which entry player it is, right? You mentioned that utility combo to completely obliterate these players tucked away. And you realize that afterthought of, well, like, guys, we need a way to get out. We need to break this door. And that's exactly when they pounce. So DRG, keep it close. But this is where things went wrong in the prior half, right? They were always 1 trailing. They were always so close to clawing their way back. And then it was a sheriff's thing around, right? That bounced DG back in, Crafty.
And they go for the C's nade combo towards Rubble, but that is everything. Shot taken there from Hong Kong. Back upstairs. They do have to give that space up, but if they do want to go for that B split, would be met by 3 of EDG players. Right with their gamble here. Nobody! I don't know whether he was spotted out or Akman's Spidey sense has just been tingling, but he finds the kill. Chichu, however, able to dodge the stun and gets 3 quick sheriff shots. Hong Kong with the showstopper as well. Doesn't find anything though. It is a 2v2.
Weapons upgraded. Playing more for info than for interference here because they might just find themselves the victim of a 3-2-1 double swing. Gong Gong isolated pillars means Chichu has so much weight to pick up, and Spirit again is that player that delivers when a hero is needed. And I think that problem was spun, Crafty, by just a mistimed swing off of a fault line. It gives me flashbacks to when it was Spirit and Bokushu trying to swing through revolving door outside the mountain last half.
Yeah.
So again, resynchronizing, they're good to go. If not, yep, you gotta rely on heroics here. Because otherwise, Chichu can get away with stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, it was a bit mistimed there, the util on the DRG side, but still, the way Chichu handled that pressure, able to dodge away from the flash, get the first kill against the sliding Neon out of all, and still able to dodge the following stun there. And it is a timeout being taken by EDG now after the Zico.
Respect for them for the proactivity, but I think both timeouts have been taken in ways that EDG has never lost the lead, right? There's never been a chance for DRG to flip the script here. And I think that's the idea behind it. Prior, again, it was taken right before that eco round that converted. This time it's after, right? When rifles are going to come in hand. And so I'm curious what the kind of approach changes look like, because last round, I feel like they kind of had too big of a focus towards B to where the mass of DRG players was. And we saw the repercussions, right? Players like Spirit slip through and have catastrophic impact to your flexibility across the map. So I think that's what it's going to look like here is, yep, still fight forward, but maybe don't be as keen to rotate. I mean, from the eye, as far as the eye can see, that's what it is. Maybe add some Yara flashes into the mix because you have that gate crash to help cheat you over towards C, but otherwise, we'll see if they hold where they are.
There is a couple ults available for them to pull up the side, but they are immediately backing off A after that combo being used again, and it is dimensional drift being used again. Can Chichu get away? This not as good, but it's just cosmetics, and he still finds the kill.
First bullet accuracy. And that is absurd. I was like, okay, maybe you stay for one, you get off, you play retake with the Steel Garden, but no. He uses it as an anchor tool to flush them back off the seaside. And they didn't get an ult orb. They didn't get the fault line back online. So now this repivot's going to be a little bit weaker unless you can set up a player like Ackman for success with this overdrive. But even then, they never dislodged the Omen, who's still up here, and you have Kong to play off of.
And Kong is able to find his mark. 4K for him. Look at the smile. He's back on track. And what a round from EDG, especially Chichu and Kong here. But this is just... That hurts. If you're a DRG fan.
One enemy remains.
Yeah, and unfortunately trailing by one won't get you the victory here if you're DRG. They have yet to break that spell. I think that's where the concern is coming from. Still one timeout left for DRG. Not going to dip into it just yet when they still have ults. They still have plans in mind. Exactly what they're going to do. Leverage them for a full committed A exec. And it's again Kong who just got a 4K. Tip of the spear here.
Jenny immediately able to get the paranoia out as well, but he is traded. Kong is known. Can we get another one? No, Spirit is there, and we'll cash it with the follow-up as well. Chichu just aggressively peeking into it. He gets one more. Still a 1v2 for him, 68 HP. He's met by a tripwire.
Yep. You just swing off the contact, right? Spirit. They try to break it. It's unbreakable from its position as well, unless you're deeper in. Ooh. He was so aware of that potential, too. We're not aware of Vukushu up close and personal. The DRG, once again, it's this rhythmic cycle of trailing by one, trailing by two. And again, an opportunity to break through to tie us up here. But the concern is, what do the ults look like for EDG? What does the money look like? And again, do you think we finally escape, Crafty? I mean, look at the ults that EDG has. Showstopper for Dimensional Drift. It feels like it's, again, just going to be an 11-9.
Yeah. Unless DRG are going to be able to get one or two picks in quick succession here early on. Bro's being Chichu trying to dance it down. Wall is triggered, and there is a showstopper from Kong, but he only finds one, and Chichu misses the shots this time. And it looks like it's gonna be DRG's round.
Both reaching double digits, hand in hand. Seems like the inevitable outcome. They know Jenny's flanked. They're not even giving a 1v1 time of day. There. Spirit finds Former, and Vukushu will find the latter. And ultimately, what I think that round comes down to is again, the game plan off of Nick and his support, right? Bot lane back site, you have this double entry that can play off of each other really well. So even if Ackman does fall to a player like Kong here, from a showstopper, you immediately have Spirit to trade it out and keep that control that you've set up on this site. And again, Chichu was kind of kept under wraps by the simultaneously breach pressure over towards Bend, so They're not getting the full extent of that Vice util either. So finally, like you mentioned, break the spell, get us tied. But can they take the lead for the first time this map?
Another quick sand push here from Aukman. Get that control, but this time they have both Gianni and Chichu waiting in the wings towards Feeling, and doesn't really pay off because they just fall back quick enough. Ready for the advance. And this should be the lead. Unless Smoggy is just, I don't know, doing some heroics on a Marshall.
Smoggy mentioned having a quieter map here. Full util online again. Searching more to punish any mistakes that DRG might throw his way, but ultimately those are going to be rare and far in between, as DRG on their map pick will finally be able to gain the lead. Job's not done yet though. EDG is out of timeouts though, Crafty. So it feels like things are most dire as they have been for EDG here as they watch this map. That advantage at the half start to slip away. And if anything favors DRG right now, it is that momentum, right? 3 rounds in a row. Looking to make it 5 and bye-bye to Corrode.
I mean, it is looking like they're just gonna repeat the script here. For DRG, another push towards Sand. Once again, this is Chichu. The support of nobody. It does get through with the TP though. Wallace flexing. The flash hits nobody himself. And DRG is farming the kills right now, but EDG's crossfire with Kong Kong and Smoggy is good enough. And again, yeah, there's no way it's gonna clutch that one in the 1v3. EDG, just when you think they're down, they're able to push back and equalize the score.
The speed in which those 3 players congregated to end Bokashoot is impressive. And even with their slight mistakes, right, like you mentioned, a rogue flash hits nobody. Again, the coordination and the timing of them simultaneously fighting out a waterfall there is so effective. And now I'm curious again what DRG's response is, because it did feel very, if it ain't broke, don't fix it until it fails. And now that it has, here's your safeguard, the final timeout. But I mentioned EDG was also in kind of a tricky situation since they didn't have that last timeout. So simultaneously an opportunity for Muggle to get one last word in before they can in overtime or are in between maps. And I think with that streak of rounds, we should have money for both sides here, which makes this round so much more interesting, Crafty.
This is certainly a key round for both of these teams. Right now. It is crunch time.
Yeah. And
for EDG and DRG.
You remember the pre-show how I said, you know, Nathan, they played on a team with nobody with Chichu, and if there's going to be a round where you just call a perfect overlapping plan against each other, it would be now. and part of me, I haven't seen the mini map yet. I'm blocking it out if it's on. I feel like I would see it's going to be an A fight, but I might be wrong, unfortunately. It looks like they are just kind of defaulting, looking like they're going to try and prod the B site. And now that's going to test EDG and how fast they can pivot through blue room, actually, from this A-hold.
Yeah. A lot of space taken. Needed.
Wow.
Old structure here from EDG as well. They give him B. Do not get the reveal. Taunt immediately destroyed. That could have spelled disaster for them. Spike is planted. And nobody just goes into dimensional drift immediately. Go for that backstab. Beautiful nightfall, but Aukman just doesn't care. Trying to work against it, and nobody's found out. It is a 2v2 Wukashu. And Spirit in Heaven with the perfect timing against Gianni. Chichu is known. And frankly, he doesn't really have the time. Keeps across this, and there's a swing immediately, but doesn't get the trade. Can he actually have this? I don't think the Kenny has one bullet, and it's not enough. Spirit finds the kill, and it is map point for DRG.
You saw the desperation there for Chichu, like, I need a different weapon. I know my bullets are running low in time simultaneously, but big kudos to the 2 layers of stuns there from the Breach and then the Neon to really prevent any efficacy out of that Nightfall. Any reflood attempt that was coming through, even after a really nice fade combo to, again, isolate the players from DRG. Achman stepping up huge. The clutch players like Spirit stepping up huge. No timeouts left on the line, and DRG re-grasping the reins here. They're galloping towards a map victory.
Pieces together there for EDG, and Spirit does have a dimensional drift of his own. There's the entire side. Everyone on the EDG side is falling back. The rotation is quick. Already player in waterfall. 3 in halls actually this time around.
Retake off the showstopper. Here it comes.
They get it. The showstopper only gets 1. Flexen with the immediate trade. And it's a good reveal. Teacher finds 1, but Flexen is working right now. The Steel Garden might be a bit late. Nick and Spirit can still sit this out. On site. Flash is not good enough. Jenny actually finds the kill. It's just Nick in the 1v1 now. Can he just stick it? Bros don't fake. And Gianni is able to clutch the round. And we're going into overtime. What is going on, Zobi?
Oh. I mean, I saw the vision for EDG there, right? A coordinated strike on the retake. That's why I expected Spirit to play interference, to play forward off the dimensional drift like they had done prior, but I think they got flashbacks to the full stun, Chichu still murking Spirit, and that's why they played for sight, but this time just the layering of the ults, the lack of follow-up off the Rolling Thunder here, and whew, Nerves of Steel, the newest re-addition to EDG. They had a Stinger enhanced, that felt like their best move, and the celebration, the confidence, it's gotta be what you need heading into overtime here.
It's these controller players. When you need them the most. They're able to make the difference for their team. It's another rubble fight here in overtime. DRG on defense now. And Achman once again gets the first one. Well, they know that Achman is there. And they actually get rid of it. And though that's a beautiful shot there from Gianni, but Spirit finds 2, is traded by Smoggy. And all of a sudden, it's a 1v1, a bloodbath around rubble.
A bloody start. We get the head-to-head cams. One of the most important rounds of the half. We've seen individual impact of Okushu. Talked about both players have had slower, I'll say quieter maps than normal, but silver lining here is that if there's anybody who has more information on the big picture, it would be Okushu with these tripwires. Now Smoggy. Are they flank? Are they rotating to spawn? Have to find out the hard way. Corner held. Will it get cleared?
This really all in position here. Does Okushu check this though? It looks like, and he finds the kill. DRG get the first round, and once again at map point.
Oh, and I love the one finger on the defuse key while the other's celebrating with the team. It's always funny to spectate, but again, just I feel like what we're getting to see is exactly what I asked for in the pre-show. The duality, the double duelist coming out in full swing, right? Yeah, and Spirit takes a few kills. Those double controllers you mentioned that are stealing the show, they take a few kills. And you saw the confidence from the clutch that led Gianni to win that space back for EDG. But all in all, a round lost and a 1v1 into the round lost, and EDG will call their timeout. Because, again, if you think about it, this was a 7-5 half, so you had a worse defense, and that's what you're heading into right now.
Yeah, these defensive wins looked scrappy for EDG. They're gonna need one right now. And we've seen that attention towards C during these later rounds for DRG, so they're probably talking about that. But but this might just be the time for DRG to switch it up themselves.
Ooh. I mean, after the last time out from DRG in the prior half, they fought front B pretty nice, actually. If you remember, Aquaman fought in a blue room, cut a lot of players off. To me, I feel like the safe call here is just to replicate your C exec. Right? I feel like that's where Spirit is the most confident on the entry. They feel like they have a good grasp of challenging the Vice. A is just such a coin toss on who wins that engagement. And I think, for what, I mean, maybe I was gonna say, maybe I finally got a call right. It's hard to say early on. The Cam's posture towards his B exec. So again, taking a risk. It's an interesting switch up here though as well, right? They are trusting nobody to fight Mound while you have more Vice to an early info B main off the Arc Rose. They're posturing to immediately be flooded, I think, for this B site. Oh, it's not gonna look good.
Immediately used. Please. Team from DRG, and it's a bit scrappy, but Kong still finds
paranoia.
the kill. Oh my god. Should go down to the satchel. It's Smoky with the immediate trades. Nick! What? In the 1v2? Gets the clutch. I don't know how they lined up, but he finds both of them, and all of a sudden DRG run away with the win here on Lotus.
DRG run away with the win, and the players run to Nick. I mean, that round should have been unwinnable. Like, Kong looked unkillable. Smoggy had his back when he finally did fall. And thank you for the replay, because how did Nick get those players? The transfer, the lineup, we gotta see it from his POV. Here it comes.
First one. Oh my! Nick!
Wow. He doesn't even get time to take his headset off. And they're swarming him. What a map, Crafty.
I mean, that's the kind of entertainment I wanted from this matchup, to be honest, between DRG and EDG. It was bloody, to say the least, between these two. And in the end, you were right. The 7 rounds, they were not enough.
Nope.
To get an attack. I mean, it led them to an overtime at least. But yes, an 8th one certainly would have helped there.
And I think this is a great start just for the confidence levels of DRG. Last time they faced off against EDG, again, that playoffs low round 2 in stage 1, they lost Lotus. They started on Lotus in 8-13. So the fact that, again, they won this map, their pick, and are heading into another map that, you know, they have only played once, but it was a win. I think that's pretty good. And we mentioned, again, their opposition, EDG, while they've played it 3 times, who won it 3 times, they've switched things up every single time. So they're still not confident in how they're approaching or playing that map. And if they make a change here yet again, then there's going to be difficulty. There's going to be growing pains. And, I mean, all this speculation as we look back at some of these final moments over on Lotus, and boy, oh boy, Crafty, did every player step up at different points this map.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has been such an entertaining first map between these two. And let's listen in some of these comps.
我们可以开门，我们可以开门，大这边有大。开门打吗？对，我们开门打，这边有大。另外一个维斯，等一下，另外一个维斯。来手持，来手持。别急，你们别急，开门了。对面开的是吧？对，我捏正了。可能最后一波夹壁也是有可能。Can送 C？ Yeah, attack。对，这个队最喜欢的就是把 VC 空了，然后打一波暴毙，好吧？我们把 C 放了行吗？ And down left, and down left. We're gonna open door and fight C long. Yeah, it's long. So we do C reset. 维斯回了。好。还说哎，还能说 C, OK？ 要的武器。对，大了。不给扔。谁有吗？没出，两个烟后面。要帮忙叫我。我是需要。我不知道 B 右边有没有人。B 通道。没看到。走吧。咱 C 看 C。当然有，但我们开门啊，记住，再去跟谁说？还是再来这刚刚那位吧。下一个是谁？谁？打碎了，应该是打碎了。来。No raise ulti, 2, 3. For the side. CT 要了 ，nice。好点。Last side。是。Nice。好接。关键了，不接他就完事了。关键炸那边兄弟，关键，把他们一接了，很关键。
Nice. there we have it. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't catch most of these the comms due to some audio issues here, but at least we do get an MVP. And after a somewhat rough start for him, he really recovered on this map, and especially
7 multi-kills.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit was insane.
I mean, I said there was a player that really had to, or multiple players that had to step up mechanically to the likes of individuals like Kong, like nobody. And he really was at the helm, especially in that first half, right? When you're down 0-4, the ability to bring it back to a 7-5 half is absurd in its own right. Even if you are trying to hinging on, it's an attack-sided Lotus. So I think he was at the helm of that in moments like that, just the reactivity and also being that sounding board for players like Achman, so he could be unleashed in some of this forward pressure. He was also instrumental in taking out players like the Vice time and time again, whether it's a clutch like that or in the early round on sites. It was super impressive. And aside from that, I mean, like, again, every player for this team stepped up, right? Like, you know, at the top of the leaderboard being 1 round of kills within each other. And looking back at those listen-ins as well that we mentioned, Crafty, I mean, it's more like impressive to me that you're having your IGL flex and call, and then your mid-rounder Nick is translating that, presumably, right, to Vukashu, since he's not from the region, right? And you still have this level of fluidity as a Breach double duelist combo with Achman. I mean, look, the first bloods were neck and neck with each other, just 2. And I want a first blood, like, just for Kong versus Spirit at this point, because I was counting the first few rounds of the first half, if you remember, but I lost track.
Yeah, I wish we had a stat like that for them, because they met so many times during those rounds. And I feel like Spirit might have actually had the edge here, even though Kong ended up with more kills in total at the end of the game. I mean, both of these duelists were showing up during this map. I mean, as you said, all of these players had their moments. I mean, even a player like Vukashu, who hasn't been in the spotlight throughout the map, had that 1v1 in the end during OT. So what an exciting first map, the map pick for DRG. It goes over to them, 14-12. We do have Corrode coming up, so that's going to be exciting. You should definitely not go anywhere, because we will be right back with the second map here between DRG. Stay tuned. And we're back with the VCT China here live at Project Horizon with an exciting matchup between DRG and EDG here in the upper brackets. First map goes over to DRG, their own map pick, Lotus, 14-12. My name's Crafty, and I'm still joined by Zobi, and we're excited because it's Corrode coming up. You were wishing for this map in particular.
I was.
Why is that? Why is that?
Just because like the current iteration, as we get a look at the compositions, is very familiar to the first composition EDG ran. So I feel like EDG has a certain familiarity to how a Gecko is going to function, how the Omen on this map, how the Cypher on this map function. But I'm more interested in, again, the solo Yoru, who we know Spirit just stepped up, in conjunction with this Clove. Any team that chooses a Clove has my heart already, and I love to see how it's going to get implemented. But also for the side of EDG, the big question was they had run 3 different compositions, and now we get to see which one they have decided is the best for them. And we're seeing that it actually is the most recent one, where they're still carrying, again, that double duelist over. There's still the nobody Yoru to kind of strengthen Kong Kong's Neon in this case, but it's leaning into that, okay, the more, I feel like, globally accepted defining meta right now for Corrode, which is this double controller as well.
Yeah, especially since the Viper, of course, gives you some more flexibility, especially with getting mid control, both on attack and defense, and cutting up those sites. I mean, it is an incredibly big map. Rotations take like forever. So
oh my goodness, the Neon help. The Yoru will help.
The Neon and the Yoru help, but also an agent like the Viper, of course, helps you maybe stall out a bit more time there.
Yeah.
The double control setup.
Oh no. Oh, we don't have to stall out time if everyone's gonna die from their first confrontation, Crafty.
Yes, and it is DRG picking up the 2 kills here. I don't know if Jenny's actually able to fall back. Is just like that. It's tagged once.
Surprised they wait.
But yeah, so yeah, I was about to say they're deciding to give him respect there.
I don't like that.
Pushing through the smoke.
I feel like you mentioned again how long it takes to rotate. I feel like they would have had the edge if they just sunk their teeth in, right? The already wounded animal. But now that they've kind of, again, given that time, given that space, that respect over to EDG, now you have the support of the Viper, right? You have Chichu side by side with Jenny and misses the repercussion.
Gets tagged by the flash though, in 2 quick kills. They finally are able to push out of A main, give him sight. And of course, the Gecko always lands with Wingman here. Give him that slide edge. Post-plan situations. There's nobody. Page goes down. Heard that one gun being reloaded. Sees Lokashu there.
There's a Bane the crossfire.
I mean, yeah, he's just there's no way he's gonna win that in a 1v3 if they decide to peek him simultaneously. And that is another pistol round for DRG. Really well done there. Again, just expecting the A main fight, weathering the storm of utility like that paranoia. And again, I personally doubted the cut noise re-engage, but the thoroughness they brought with the Dizzy kind of nullified a lot of those concerns, a lot of those risks that would have come along with it between that crossfire Chichu and Jenny were sporting. But the time being here, the gamble stack out of EDG may just fare to serve them correctly here. Nice proactive flash to clear out any aggressors B main, but still, in the time being, you mentioned the impact of the Viper Wall can have if they fight through it. We'll see if it helps these eco frags. Wait out of smoke. We're using the Viper Wall again. At least force the TP there from nobody. The Molly. But another smoke comes out. I mean, they at some point will have to disrespect those smokes, and so they do. Spirit just hops on side, but is immediately traded. Kong with the sheriff in hand. Just mows him down. They actually have to fall back to A main, B main that is, again. Smoky trying to duck away. Blackson still finds him. Make this work somehow, another dash, but he doesn't get the kill. Flaxen with another 4K. He's already had a great Lotus. Another good start for him here on Corrode.
Definitely another contender for MVP on this team, but yeah, so many things working really, really well here for the side of EDG just to make this round her, right? The fade, the paper thin walls. Spike going down that early, so leveraging again the benefits that Viper Wall has. DRG though, really not showing any signs of slowing down just yet. Leveraging again the Clove Yoru. The regenerative Gecko utility here as well. Not be understated. Oh, but that's not good. Your lurk player Achman taken down.
Taking their time now. Again. Not a lot of space taken there in mid as well. Not really much they can work with. It's hard to split these sides. That's the attacking team. They don't have that support. The flash is good though. Great entry there from both Nick and Spirit. Smoggy on the Odin. Finds two. Not enough to really keep them away though. Kong absolutely reckless as he rushes on side, and Nick with just 11 HP could easily fall to the stray bullet here. Does he actually want to drop down? Yes, he okay.
I don't think I've seen a fall damage death on Corrode yet. I mean, I've only casted it a few times, but at least they have the ability to laugh it off and try to move on. But all in all, I mean, I was I was mentioning how fast DRG has been, how pedal to the metal they've been. So the fact that they slow it down and try to hinge on Achman getting an opening kill, I don't think that these 1-for-1 explorations is what's going to serve this team well. So again, I want to see team fights. I don't want to see players off on their own, unless they have a way to get away, right? Like a Yoru. But again, it's difficult when it's now you have a solo entry like your Yoru. And replicating what works, EDG. Going for this mid control, but Spirit, you know, bringing their success over, has Dimensional Drift to entry to clear out these spaces, to overwhelm Kong hopefully on this A exit.
Finding Achman there. Being traded back and forth though. Good flash there from Spirit as well. Oh my god! The MVP from Lotus showing some work again for DRG. And this round be all but over. Chichu, what can he do?
Wow.
Nothing. 4K again for Spirit.
And standing up here as well, right? They are EDG's kryptonite right now. No matter whether it's star players, international MVPs. And again, EDG feel like they have ideas coming into this, right? They want to take that mid space. They want to use that to splinter the players that are on DRG's side. But DRG's very main-centric approach, whether it's B main, whether it's A main. And the complete dismissal of mid control, unless it's an afterthought like an Achman lurk, is really, really hard for EDG to call against right now. And 1 or 2 more rounds, and I'm going to be expecting a timeout here. Maybe even after this round ends, if the eco, the thrifty, doesn't go their way.
Yeah, it would be a surprise. He said, soon as... Oof, great jump peek there. Chichu. I'll be able to bait it out for Gianni. Doesn't really want to hug it, but gets the kill. Great crossfire there with the small guns. Overdrive activated immediately, even finds Nick there in the smoke. It's a 4v2 advantage. Even able to recover a gun there as well.
Ooh. I like this. You had Spirit stick around just a little bit to see if anybody would get too eager too early. The regrip comes through. I expected, you know, Vokushu to hightail it over to B where nobody was and go for that plant playoff. If his individual heroics that we know he has, maybe was lacking map 1, but the re-engagement to still punish his weapon collection. To say you had to win that opening engagement against Chi-Chu, but since he wins both, since EDG win that round, the aforementioned probably won't see an EDG timeout. He saw that stabilization, and it really came out of, again, focus, realization that they could completely ignore mid. Because it's an area of the map that DRG is dismissive of, disinterested in. And I mean, when you set up a crossfire like that with stingers and followed up with an overdrive, it is hard to overcome. So DRG, again, avoid A now. They know that's been quote-unquote solved by EDG for the time being. So now it's going to be, again, very simplistic, very direct. Challenge B main. And if that starts breaking down, I need to see more complexity out of DRG.
Yeah, Flaxen almost going down to the Odin there. Through the wall. And as you said, I was mentioning it earlier as well. It's so hard as an attacker split the pressure on side if you do not have any mid control. Nobody making his way through mid now. Very deep smoke here by EDG. He has the support from Kong as well. Just as DRG are actually trying to take that space.
Yeah, as for complexity, they look like they're trying to offer it as soon as this Viper Wall falls. Should be the go button.
Check. Let's take the TP. Viper Wall comes up immediately. And just like that, half of the round is gone. And DRG has not taken any space. Almost no util usage from EDG as well, but Kong needs to get out. Uses the slide. Gets away safely. But this should open up B.
Should, it's Smoggy, right? And light shields aplenty. No shields actually left after the damage from that mid exchange. They are gonna get shredded.
Oh, there's the first one. This is the Han. Can he actually get into position? We can make use of that Odin. Doesn't find the wingman, so spike should be planted. The rest of the team is there to support him already. Taking their time until Chi-Chu makes his way through mid. Flaxen. Can he get out? The knife is good. Oh my god, the TP from Flaxen is so cheesy. He gets one, but the rest of the team falls around him. And EDG find a good retake.
A good attempt to circumvent that. Amazing that he even got the plant, under the circumstances. No shields and an Odin on the other side. Yeah, but just again, the immediate trades from players like Chi-Chu. How it feels like EDG is just playing their own game without a worry about the timer on these retakes. I need to see that level of disrespect that we saw on Lotus from players like Spirit fighting forward in some of these site ticks. That's so instrumental, especially on sites like B. And I think because it's been these near misses in terms of timing, because they're such low EQ when they finally get to the site execs, that things aren't going their way to that degree. And I think that's part of the discussion for DRG coming into this timeout, the first one of the game. The other one is, again, just having that confidence in those mid-round calls, because they did dilly-dally around mid. They didn't really find too much impact there other than, maybe getting a relay bolt out of Kong. So, other, micro things they might be discussing, for one-round plays or fixes, would be maybe how do we re-address A? How do we refight that site since we had really good success there? That's one of my suggestions for discussion points. Other than that, again, it feels like this team is definitely more favored in some of these death ball explosive attempts and, again, deposit players, and that's not what this comp is for either.
And also on the side of EDG, be interesting to see how they are actually trying to work with this big control that they at least have been able to establish in these past couple rounds.
Well, look at the soul read. And it's right. Oh, yeah. To break the tie. We might have a tech pause waiting to see.
This doesn't
prolong the break. Prolong the break. But okay, so we have, what do we have as we jumped over to the pause? We had what looked like a Vokushu mid lurk setup. And we had, again, this very, very aggressive B main pressure setup. So they are addressing the A control for now, which is okay. I said that was one point of discussion they could have. The other one I said was they're getting B site. They're getting the plant down there, right? We've seen it, Crafty. It's more, again, what they do in the post plant, whether it's setting up these crossfires, whether it's fighting forward and taking that initiative. And I said I wanted to see the latter. So that's what I'm hoping to see here. But again, nerves as the tech pause comes to a close. You're going to be clotheslined, hopefully, by nobody in Hong Kong if you're an EDG fan. Can they do that?
Even waiting out the aggression from EDG here, expecting it, and they get the kill, but it's a trade. Flexen steps forward though, finds Kong, forces both Smoggy and Janny. Fall back.
Wow.
Do still hold B main. Paranoia in hand here for Flexen. And now that they're spotted, needs to fall back on side.
Oh yeah!
Here comes the Thrash just to try to force these players off of their positions. Thanks to where they're also pinpointed them on the map, but EDG not going out of fight, but when the reloading player, Smoggy, is tucked away in elbow, you have no support!
Smoggy! With the jumping peak as well, with the Odin in hand. What are these players?
Oh, it's silly.
It is.
Had to try. When you have an Odin in hand, what else can you do? DRG, while it's scrappy, while they still don't get the opportunity to fight forward, they weather the storm over towards B. They throw the adjustment, the counter that EDG developed during that timeout back into their face, taking out both duelists. And again, it's just, when they get fragmented and take some of these ones, EDG players, again, you cannot expect them to just lie down and take it. You cannot expect them to not be able to pop off and get 1 for 2 trades. Like, Chi-Chu. Insane, this map. And again, DRG not out of the weeds just yet. Money still online. Adjustments from EDG in terms of who's taking mid space. And a really nice anchor point with that Viper's put over on A. All of this to funnel them towards this Kong operator.
They're already on side thanks to the Dimensional Drifter from Spirit. Botting out the Odin. Taking a lot of space where it's mid as well. They just find, oh my god, beautiful setup there with the smoke. Spirit gets one, immediately switches to the Vandal to clear out nobody as well. Kong still alive.
I know. Don't move, Nick. Don't move.
Might actually go for the bag here. So patient from Kong. But he's on his own now. The operator only knows Aquaman. Just the slightest pixel there. Spotted by Spirit, and another 4K from him. This man is on fire right now for DRG.
Wow. And two things of note. Remember how I said I didn't want Akhman alone mid? That's the exact reason why. You can get that 1-for-1 trade. You can shut down heroic players from players like Gianni. And I mean, the Dimensional Drift completely deconstruct that plan that I mentioned, which was to flush all these DRG players into that operator, into Kong. Gorgeous. And Spirit, what else does he do? He fights forward into Link. So every problem on that B site post plant that I mentioned, rectified. And now they jump to the other side of the map where they now will try to solve the A site that got them started with this strong first half, and then it fizzled out on that eco round from EDG. So we'll revisit it on a later date when EDG have made adjustments. They hope have left this site vulnerable once again.
Taking the space from mid again. Same setup, but nobody's showing up, so... Well, no player from DRG is showing up, so nobody is actually taking the TP over to A. Kong still holding that elbow position. It looks like they're gonna advance through mid. This time around, Kong gets the kill and even pulls the ult from Akhman.
Ooh.
Can he actually advance here? It looks like it goes down again. Kong is none of it. We get a second one. Oh my god, these sheriff shots from Kong are different. That is how one player can make the difference in these rounds. He goes down eventually. Good over Eager. Kong and Genie falls as well. They pay the price. They're over aggression.
He just wanted the ace. He wanted the glory and thought the round was pretty much secured, and it might just be... Yeah, but if you don't clear the corner. And now, although Vukushu has a chance, it's 2 HP in 1v2.
Yeah, almost gets with the wall bang and the drive by Kong. Oh, you gotta love this man.
Hey, swing me, do it again. Run it mid. I got you, no matter what weapon in hand. And again, that goes back to this kind of tag team one after another that you cannot do against these EDG players. I need utility. I need something to back them up there, right? Achman, if he has a flash from the Yoru, if he has some semblance of support, that's what I needed to see here. And it's difficult with this composition, right? You don't have a breach, you don't have a neon, you don't have stuns, so it really does have to be your Yoru. There is no other util choice there. Maybe a Prowler? Even then. Bygones are bygones. You still have 1 round buffer room against EDG, but money repaired. Yours broken. Gotta just play off of what you can, and they're kind of using this Viper Wall sectioning to their advantage. Deposits already into elbow.
Outside with Chichu. Has nobody support immediately. Can they get Spirit? Yes, they can. Once this man goes down, already decreases DRG's chances of winning the round. Perfect timing for Concon with the swing here, but Nick is ready. Immediate follow-up though for the rest of the team. Yeah, they're just gonna stick that. No way Vukasha is actually ever gonna see that spike. And they equalize the scoreline once again, just when you thought DRG could actually run away with their attacking side here.
And DRG is the one that invested in early timeout, so I don't expect one for the remainder of this half, no matter how bad it gets. 5's enough. We saw a 7-5 conversion last map. And this round even wasn't that bad per se, right? They had worse weapons. They get the plant down. They get a few guns out of EDG's hands too. Well done to that degree. But EDG, they realized, okay, we don't have to live by the side, die by the side. We can still kind of fix the mistakes we had on retake and win those as well. So DRG going back to what worked, right? Default, punish the mid-aggression out of EDG, but ultimately weather out kind of the utility storm over towards the B site, even if time isn't going to be your best friend.
Look at nobody in Hong Kong.
The Utah flash?
Already
No?
deep down in mid. Nobody will be able to get out. To just pre-fire in that corner.
Okay, she's so aware. Oh,
and so is nobody. And he actually gets the TP, dodges the thrash. Beautiful stuff there. Immediate kill from Kong Kong as well. Then he goes down. Towards A main though. And that gives them the opening!
Whoa!
Especially with shots like these through the smoke. The Chinese special.
Oh. Last 2 players tucked away in Link. Spirit realizing I can risk my life. But ultimately, it's better to take a friend or 2. 3 players stood up. They don't line up here, it should be good.
I mean, it's a good first one. Wait, Smog against 2 and Spirit has to clean up again.
A little close for comfort.
Yeah.
But ultimately, job done. And I mean, that went from really bad to a lot cleaner, right? I mentioned how I really don't want these players, right? Like pre-util swinging. And that's what they started out with. That's why Valkyrie got punished, right? Before the Thrash got the info. And then here, just we got all that util, right? Paranoia into Link. C's into Link. Mosh into Link. All this just they didn't have to fight head on. And again, when we know EDG is aiming, you have to find other ways to overcome. Now, you hopefully have better weapons, better ults. Might just be time for the tried and true B exec off the Dimensional Dress. Rely on Spirit to get that first blood, to get that opening. Oh,
about the second player though.
How are you alive?
Take the TP out. Like a slither of health. Makes it out alive, but Flexen on side already, wreaking havoc. Chichu able to take him out though. Bachman already taking a lot of space. Towards heaven, and Chichu's still holding strong. But Spirit could be the hero. This 12th round for them. A 1v1 between Chichu and Nick. Is no info.
The drop.
Get onto ceiling. No, he doesn't. But Nick, with the perfect timing on the swing, secures another one for DRG.
What a chaotic round. I mean, Nightfall, while they're going for the entry, Flex didn't punish. Again, this idea that they want to go exploring, whether it be mid, elbow, heaven, gets punished by EDG because, again, it's singular players they're depending on. Again, at the end of the day, it's a singular player they depend on to clutch things out. Nick gives them the 7-5 advantage at halftime.
Yeah, what a crazy first half between EDG and DRG. And once again, it's EDG's map pick. DRG are up 1-0 in terms of map wins. So it's EDG, their backs against the walls as we are exploring. What do they say? What do they say?
Are you more pushing or are you holding sides? I'm holding. You said you were a smokes player. I'm Senti smokes. Yes, but are you like a 10 zone and TPing in kind of smokes player?
No. I'm a Viper main, so
I'm there it is. Yeah, you're basically a sentinel. Holding. You're basically a sentinel. Seems like the audience not quite on our side just yet. We may make a comeback. No! You had one job. When I see Jet drawing, I know they're going to be pushing.
I mean, that's my ranked experience in a nutshell. I'll be sitting on side telling everyone to not push, and then all of a sudden everyone's pushing, and I'm just in a 1v5.
Well, with the compositions that we're seeing in the server right now, I'm expecting Spirit to push. I mean, look at that. 4K after 4K, still aces denied. I'm expecting hyper aggressiveness as well out of the EDG composition, unless you're playing it like Lotus, where if you remember, we had nobody as like a consistent lurk player, right? Corridor Road a little different, right? 2 maps, but I still feel like there's still 3 lanes, right? So I would maybe expect like a nobody lurk mid, right, to try and get behind the team. But other than that, I mean, no designated sentinel. I don't want to see the Viper play apart from the masses. Like their utility is important for corralling on site with that snake bite. I'm curious to see how they play this iteration of the composition. And if they can win a pistol.
And it looks like it's gonna put 5 man on the spot here. Over towards A, flexing, able to smoke.
Did they hear them drop?
I think they should have heard him. He's able to get out now. Is spotted by the Prowler though, still able to find a kill towards nobody. I mean, it's almost the best that could happen for him. Conklin struggling there in the long-range duel with Stick, but Jenny is there. Smoggy cleaning it up as well, and it's just Wukashu in a 1v3, and with the jump peek, they spot him. Pistol goes over to EDG. Able to close around here. Able to equalize the score here.
1-for-1 on pistols this map for each team. I am already to state, I think that, Jenny, my RNG right clicks don't do that. Headshot after headshot. And I liked that, again, DRG was fixing some of the issues we saw in the first half. They were trying to, again, get the info off the utility, try to swing off of it. But again, the weakness of the Gecko maybe shines through there. Quick work done. EDG, they made some mistakes. But again, Heroics supersede. The activity to refight into Link supersedes. They secure, like you mentioned, a pistol to bounce right back. Now, this was a difference, right? It was 7-5 on Lotus, but then EDG up 7-5, won the pistol, continued their dominant streak for a little bit. DRG here now. And no buys, no sheriffs, no stingers, no funny business here. Kind of giving EDG that in to tie us up right out the gate this half.
You mentioned nobody being the lurker here in front of B. Not really spotting any aggression. They must have heard the camera from Wukashu, but he goes down immediately. Versus Smoggy, clean shot. Spike will be able to be planted, and the rest of DRG taking the long way.
Yep.
I'd say this is find a couple more kills here.
2 things. 1, lack of a sentinel. Hopefully you can get behind the team. 2nd, maybe playing more for exits here. Or to die to Spike. Because again, we've seen how important EDG using those ults to convert bonus rounds is. Not that I think there's... Nobody's close enough. No one had a standout pistol performance enough to have a meaningful impact in that regard, but... Here it comes. The massacre in the making. One way or another.
How many does he get? Not a single one. Able to claim that kill. Oh, they actually have to fall back on side. This could hurt them. so much. The transfer is good enough, and the TP to get out alive. I don't know if Kong died there. Nobody in the end goes down to the spike. That round was a lot more expensive than it should have been.
Yeah, they realized they almost fell victim to the exact play that DRG was going for. If they got the gamble stack wrong, they would have been stuck on site. They would have lost all those weapons. So Jenny getting that Bulldog barrage really saved them, at least a little bit economically there. 2 players survived instead of what would have been none. But that was Jenny, I think, keeping out of the spike's radius to commentate. But look at this. DRG, other plans, take the fight off of contact here. Oh.
Oh my goodness!
Chichu?
Beautiful paranoia there. They whiffed the shots. This could have been so much worse for them.
There were 3 players in a corner. And now suddenly a bonus round is convertible. That lead might just get lost altogether. They have a crossfire at least between Achman and Flex in here. Like you mentioned, paranoia utilized early means this site hold not too concrete. I could see an Achman medal come out to play. EDG. They look like they might just be willing to disengage and challenge Vokushu. I mean, they did it last round pretty easily. Why not do it again? With 45 seconds and more utility and a weapon, this time in the Cypher's hands, you may just be underestimating this player just because they've had a rough series compared to normal.
And then again, they do not have any...
They're gonna go link to A.
Smokes over. Oh, yeah. Still taking the way to mid. It's only 25 seconds left. They gotta hurry up a bit.
Either way, they should circumvent the Cypher util as well.
Okay. How much damage?
The Cam sees it.
Okay, how much time can he actually buy here?
I think he's gonna throw his life away just for trying to deny the spike plant, but they plant safe and get the kill on top of it. Oh my goodness.
Does things like that. This player is just insane. And now all of a sudden, they got so much space to work with. So many corners to clear there for both Achman and Flexin as the spike is taken away. Chichu just swapping between these corners. Great first kill there from Achman though. Immediate Prowler. Are they gonna stick it? Not just yet, but Achman finds another one! And Achman is the hero once again for DRG. As they're able to convert that round that should have been EDG's.
I mean, Chichu gifted it to them, right? Opening up the B side after making an early round play like that, mind you. That, after 3 players are flashed in paranoia, stuck in a corner, they keep you alive. But, oh my goodness, the confidence under pressure, under time there. All realizing, yeah, we should have won that round. It's fine though. It's fine. And now DRG, again, it was costly, but they get the round done regardless. Get the lead. Kinda still similar grounds for both of these teams, as DRG now go exploring towards mid.
Once again, a deep smoke there. Vested in 3 players actually. In the race. 2 more to support Spirit, but it takes the TP. Achman just gets a quick peek through the smoke. But no health bars traded there. It at least forces them to their way towards B main.
You got one way to play off of.
Right into traps.
He's not in a position to punish.
Oh, that's a great reveal though. He actually goes down not only to the mosh pit, but to the crossfire as well. Achman cleaning things up. They just don't know where to look at. There's too many angles to clear on side for EDG.
Not just that, but 2 things. One, I'm like, wow, I mean, okay, she's not in a position to punish off that one way. But the players rotating from mid-link are Spirit and Nick and that Mosh as well. So clean. And again, the speed in which, because they had that deep mid control, they're able to pivot to B and have that kind of security that, okay, there's probably nobody getting behind us since we're ahead of the Viper wall as well. Really, really good. map-wide awareness there. They're going to replicate it here, hopefully, but EDG challenging forward instead, going really quick on this eco. Up the gut, up towards a Link, and once again leveraging these weapons to take an early kill off of DRG and looking for more.
They're through already, and it's just Flexen on site. Can he actually get out? The rest of his team arrives. No, he decides to fight and goes down. Gun potentially able to be picked up here as well, using the wingman to claim the space. Kasha finds one, but it's a good flash. And an immediate trade from Kong Kong.
Buying time for Achman. Have to wait.
Nick almost goes down to the wall bang. Does in the end. And not even Achman can save the day. A thrifty for EDG to come back into this map.
Getting first half Lotus flashbacks where DRG thought they were finally going to catch a break, and then yup, it's a round like this. Sheriffs or Singers making a huge difference here, and again it comes off of the team play, the consistent util support they give each other, like that flash, so they couldn't challenge the plant forward. And I just wish they'd waited again for Achman to get in position, but even then we saw Chichu make quick work of that, so who knows how it would have gone. For the time being though, back to square one. They switched a little bit up. Again, with the aggressive duo of this Yoru and Gecko B main, they put the Cypher util on A. Oh, and they're gonna fight forward. They got Kong Kong dizzy.
Flash there. With Kong Kong able to get out. Relight bolt. Just to mention what you said earlier. The Rational mid goes their way.
Wow.
It's gonna be so awkward for the players on side, and it's even a Nightfall invested.
Close goal.
Both of them sitting there. Uses the clone to check the smoke, and the reveal is beautiful. Fine Achman, but he's not dead yet. Can he make something work with the ultimate? No, he goes down again, but Spirit, of course! The hero to claim the prize. 3K for him. Jenny does not expect flexing that close. And it's 10 double digits on the board for DRG.
And once again, it's scrappy, it's messy, but he gets the job done. Again, that round just screams like, okay, we don't really have a firm grasp of how to hold this site, how to retake it. And the trap wires and the link control that falters, the wall bangs here. I think they're just lucky that Nick had that thrash pressure to force his players into Spirit, into Flexen, and they were able to get these kills. They can, again, depend on individual players to perform under pressure. And EDG, first time out, mind you, as we're like ending towards the map or OT time, invested, so we still got a long ways ahead of us, full of twists and turns and adjustments, Crafty.
Yeah, but it is getting closer and closer towards a DRG upset already. Yeah. I mean, we were expecting a 3-mapper at least, and EDG definitely, at least historically, the favorites in this matchup.
DRGs are just the champs spoilers at this point, right?
Yes.
I think we mentioned their match against XLG would have been like, okay, XLG off points, good for champs. And EDG tied for first in champs points, very similar, maybe not quite there yet position. And they're also going to get denied that safety net. All of this, I mean this is an important round.
A lot of things would have to go wrong for EDG to not make champs, but
it's still, for the time being. And look at this, though. This is why they took the timeout, right? 4 out of 5 ults. Scraping the bottom of the barrel monetarily. If they lose this round, they're basically gifting DRG in 11. Let's remember your fears. If they overinvest and gift this round to DRG.
Yeah. Dodge, it's
not
the
again.
Balls, but Hong Kong finds the kill in the end. Is being traded though. Re-aggression. Not really paying off here, but nobody uses the dimensional drift. There's a lot of space here. From mid towards A. Gets the flash on side as well, and immediately ready for Bukashu. But can they actually use this Viper's Pit? in this post-plan scenario. It's a lot of space taken. Awkward, but Flexen gets 2. Chicha's still alive though, most importantly. Has to dance out. The ultimate though. Both ticks unable to find him. And it's a great transition. How does Smoggy find Vukisha there? Wingman. Defuse. But Nick should not be able to get out alive here. It's a 3k for Smoggy in the end, and the Viper's Pid spells demise for DRG.
Yeah, EDG again. Felt like some mistakes in terms of Kong falling, but ultimately, again, they came up with a concrete plan of the timeout, utilizing the ult, and that was the entire strategy, right? And for DRG side, we saw them make some adjustments, particularly the trips, to try and kind of mitigate that A-lane control. I think it's, again, maybe the lack of a strong info initiator that kind of cost them in the Viper's Pit, so they played it as well as they could. I think that was a paranoia TP from Flexen that got 2, but like you mentioned, Chi-Chi staying alive ruins everything. And now EDG feeling revitalized, confident to maybe tie us up 10-10. Headed to the middle. Flash, deposit, nobody into mid. Keep Kong away from the B main fight. Or the A main fight. Now the question is, where do they go after setting these traps? Establishing these deep players? When A link again? They're gonna clear out Spirit? Can they clear out Spirit?
Oh, nobody.
He doesn't have a TP away. The TP's in front of him. Okay, it's gone.
Yeah, I was confused seeing that earlier. I don't know if he was just using it for fakes, but Gianni, tip of his head, and that's all he needs. Oh my god, Flexen! The cheeky dodge there. He only hits one immediately traded, and Aukman's still alive. Got that. It's just, once again, Vukisha, these 1vx scenarios. I don't think he can do much here. No.
Yeah, we're tied. Again, double digits. We may just be headed to OT for both maps, and then we'll determine if we get a map 3 or a 2-0. But outside of that, again, I'm not... I would be frustrated if I was the coaching staff for DRG. Because they are making the adjustments that they need to make, right? I mentioned they're having issues holding off of Vukishu's util on A. They're having difficulties playing coordinated retakes on A that don't hinge on individual performance. And that was evidenced by, again, players like... Aukman on site. So what do they do instead? They fight for a deeper A main control, which again, I that's such a smart move, but they just can't lose those fights. So then I think that's where this timeout comes from. Last one of regulation for the side of DRG. And to me, it's again, don't give up on that A main deep control. Just figure out ways to, instead of solely depending on Spirit to perform, see how we can better support him. Particularly Flexen, that paranoia. He played for the very individualistic game. Yes, got 1, but then sandwiched between the 2 trades. That is inevitable from a team coordinated like EDG. And that's the only adjustment I can call for right now. Their B has looked okay. The mid control has looked okay. We haven't seen anything catastrophic from EDG's end. It's just these A splits that are so hard to dissect for the time being.
Glad you mentioned that. And certainly something coaching staff is talking about during this timeout. And as we, I don't know, head into an eco now, I believe, for DRG. I don't know if that was an eco. No, it was an eco, just that last round. So it should be another buy round here for DRG, but certainly
take a break.
Key one on this second map. Otherwise, EDG almost there for the map point, potentially sending us into a third map. Another
They're trying to bait it. Because Kongo's been here solo, right? And they usually overwhelm it, but now there's 3. He showed up with friends, right?
Weird does have some support of his own, though. Most importantly,
Paranoia.
Flexen still with the paranoia. Currently holding that link position, but paranoia be disastrous for the side of EDG, but they're still taking their time. Neither team
they're faking
wants to
the
make the first move here.
The Prowler went out linked. You have nobody's pressure. And here comes the trap executed, but it's a counter paranoia to get them out of it.
But a clean shot from Nick. How can these players get out though? Another one for him. The dimensional drift
the body block
used just to
vision block.
EP has to be taken by Spirit. Till the damage is done. The numbers advantage for the side of DRG. Nobody. Still on his way through mid. Nightfall even invested now. Just for Spirit. Can they spot him? Flexen still holding Link. Able to clean out nobody with only 14 seconds remaining.
Saving?
This looks like a save for EDG.
Yeah, huge trap, huge risk setup. EDG thought they had them met, right? We mentioned again, a consistency of conditioning was, okay, Kong Kong's alone, we util dump him, we get an early first kill. They wanted them to fight forward, but because it was delayed, they second-guessed themselves and got punished as a result. Some mistakes there, right? No TP away for Spirit early. Nick, again, you don't have a way to get away as a Gecko. So Dimensional Drift was utilized maybe prematurely there, but still, like you mentioned, it did its job. It got numbers, it denied the B main control, and it ate away the timer. There was less than a minute left, so there was no time to refight over towards A, especially when that mid-space lurk, nobody was taken out like this by Flexen. They left them with no choices, and you mentioned it was at such an important round. It would have been make or break 12 likely for EDG. Now they're the ones with pressure. They're the ones with a timeout to take.
They even used the overdrive there in the exchange in B main, so bit of an ultimate advantage as well for the side of DRG as we're heading towards that end of the second map. DRG, it would be such a surprise if they actually managed to take down EDG in a 2-0 fashion. But EDG probably still got something left in the tank. Last couple rounds.
Who was it that got to 12 first on Lotus? I want to say it was EDG.
It was DRG. It was DRG.
It was DRG. Okay.
It was 12.
Oh, you are right. You are right. Yes, yes. It was right in a similar position like this at the finish line.
Yeah.
And then we went to OT and it was just a closeout from DRG. I'm wondering if, again, we get that last sprint because EDG saves these timeouts for so late. This map in particular.
Yeah.
But we also saw, again, DRG hit that like stride of consistency on a comeback. We haven't seen that. It's been very back and forth this half. So, again, comes down to maybe the final buy. EDG lose this, DRG will have 12. Just an anti-eco denial. And they've got them their 2-0 and a rematch against XLG.
Back to his ultimates again. EDG so far away from another one outside of from the shadows. What can they do here? They decide to take a direct approach this time around. Kong Kong gets one, but Aukman on fire right now. Spirit helping out from heaven and just drop on side. Kasha with the lucky headshot there through the smoke. And this might just be another save for Gianni. These BXX just not working out for EDG right now.
The anchor finally shines through, whether it's the Cypher trips or that little trap coordination between the Gecko and Yoru and the Omen. I think maybe we have some time to break things down as Gianni is just sticking around, trying to keep this weapon in hand for map point. DRG understands, it feels like, some of the weaknesses of this composition, and I think that's what some of these micro plays are set to kind of compile utility and make up for it, right? Again, I kind of mentioned this was a huge problem last half because then they couldn't really like fight through a Link, for example. They couldn't really set up to force players like Kong Kong off their lines, even on eco rounds with Sheriffs. But that's why you have a Paranoia, a Dizzy, and a Flash all at once, and you've got to choose what to do. Run away, shoot the Dizzy, spray blind. And that's when they're able to find those impactful moments. In rounds where, again, it's not you running into Vokashu's trips on the B site. And now, I mean, you're out of options, you're out of money. What do you do?
In the opening doesn't look too bad. The tempo switch from EDG, they find that first kill, but then nobody just TP's right in front of Aukman, who's able to clean up too. And now it's match point for DRG. They do get another ulti up here for nobody, but he's still far away from another dimensional drift to help them come back. Get us to overtime. So much aggression, so much attention towards mid this time around from DRG, and it's a flash to pop out of the Viper's wall. Everyone from
baited them into the fight.
goes away.
It kind of worked too. It got so many players off the B site, but not the Anchor Sentinel, who just is gonna play instead off site and trust in the players again, pivoting from it. This speed that we've seen from DRG time and time again comes in clutch, and now look who else is gonna come in clutch. Spirit is gonna kind of cut off these rotates.
Oh, he gets the first one. I mean, the start of this round just looks like a replay from last round. The way they held that B side and Spirit with
Look
the
at Spirit's
TP.
gonna be there again. Not again.
Just able to reposition immediately. Gianni walks right into his crosshair, and it's just Smoggy in a 1v4. 30 seconds left. He goes towards A. Could at least separate Blackson here in a 1v1.
Timing.
Blackson's
He's not gonna clear
so
it.
Smart. He's playing that so smart, and he finds him. And DRG take a road, take the match, and send EDG down to the lower bracket. They do get their revenge.
Wow. Again, a grudge match served up ice cold there. The celebration from a squad on the up and up again, disrupting a clean start to the playoffs run that EDG hoped they could achieve to make that run towards Champs Paris. Not over yet. Like you mentioned, they will go to the lowers tomorrow to face off against Trace Esports. A rematch for themselves from the group stage. They lost 1-2 in week number 2. They'll have to look to fix mistakes there, but for the time being, smiles on all their faces even after loss, knowing how well that was played against DRG. And DRG, right, playing comps that work for them, integrating a new player like Ackman, who they have full trust in, who's just trying to get those nerves out as a new player. It's just, it's a squad that I think could sway a lot of people by the end of their playoffs run, and they could be like a personable group coming in to Champs Paris if they make that run. Because again, Champs points, they have to get what is it, top 3 to dislodge Wolves' spot?
Yeah, I mean, if DRG win their match against XLG, they are top 3.
That is top 3. And that would be, I think they would steal Wolves' spot in points.
Yeah. I mean...
Oh, it's like choosing between 2 of my favorite children. You can't make me do this.
And DRG certainly shaking things up here after this first day of playoffs in VCT China. And I mean,
I argue both were upsets today.
Yeah.
The AG match as well. AG were looking hot off their heels.
Especially the way all games lost.
Yeah. The Tyloo.
I mean, they stood no chance versus Tyloo. And while it was close between EDG and DRG, they do actually end up winning 2-0.
Again, I think you mentioned it comes down to prep. To me, no, it comes down to reps, right? Like, yes, these were maps that were played a lot by EDG, but it wasn't with this new mentality, this new identity with the double duelist. Versus, again, it goes back to, you know, maybe baiting us a little bit, saying we're going to come in with different strategy, we're going to come in maybe with even different comps in the playoffs. No, they're playing the same game they've played all stage. Again, win or loss, they've learned how to tweak small things and improve as a team all around. And I think that's what I saw in Corrode, was I was pointing out mistakes, right, at the end of rounds. Like, this is, to me, why they lost. These are things I want to see improved at timeouts. And then you would see small, like, util pieces adjusted. You would see things left, right, and center that just truly made a difference.
Yeah, I mean, once again, a great performance from all of these players, both individually and as a team. And speaking of team, let's listen in.
一样的
from DRG
真不
他现在没眼了，我不瞄。
抓黑了我。
好，等你走到你近点，我看不了。
丢出 TP
踢回来，
一样的。
还抢给烟中路，我钻烟里，我钻烟里。打中路。
我补烟。
能丢吗？可以丢吗
？1、2，丢。
被掰了。
走了吗？他右路走了。回来跟我接，兄弟。哦 B。
OK B。要
打 B。啊，对抗。还看 TP，进了。没进吗？进了。Nice。那个黑。我走了。
这个 play side。
还开场，开场，我没问题。回了。
什么边
？Yeah。Nice。完毕。可以走。Nice。4打2 4v2。2个吗？
不知道。
背的 mid。
个 CD。
OK。
我换子了。
快点 A 大。
pick 飞哟。
中给了。
他 B 小能上吗？
牛逼！这中路的，last mid player， 中路，3打1 ，double hold。
OK。
剩余30秒。
只能去 A， 去不了 B， 现在。给吧。哎，一球。拜塞，打残他没事。
在哪到8点了吗？
The excitement there from DRG as they take down EDG, and the MVP once again, it is Spirit.
Yeah, and again, I feel like the impact here was different, right? It felt more integrated with the rest of the team. It was, again, playing off their contact, playing off their utility. Not to say there weren't different levels of individual play, because it was at the end of the day, but again, we always saw Paranoias, we always saw Dizzies. I feel like Nick, again, with the Breach versus the Gecko, again, there's not as much kind of like bang for a buck for the utility, but it was still always there to facilitate. It was, again, just the difference in age, the difference in utility types that sometimes EDG was able to get ahead of. We look back to those players that Chichi was able to bail out when they're literally paranoid and dizzied over in A main. But all at the end of the day, again, they understood the weaknesses that playing to their own style instead of into the meta brought, and they came up with really creative ways to combat that. Now, if this will hold moving forward, again, into deeper playoffs or into the global stage, that's where, again, Nathan might pull out these little tweaks and changes to stay unpredictable, like you mentioned. But for the time being, they played their game to a T, and I think that's what won them the match today.
Exactly. I'm so excited to see how this roster or how this team is actually going to evolve throughout the playoffs. Whether they will have to adapt, whether they will actually have to switch things up, or whether they can actually manage to get through with these, sticking with these comps. And set 15
it's so different.
First bloods for EDG. They're still only able to convert in 10 of these rounds.
And that's so different from Lotus, right? Where I think it was like 14 to 12, right, in First Bloods. So to see that different this time around, I think speaks to volumes. Like we mentioned, they had a hard time holding on to sites, for example, in their defensive half. It wasn't until they set up some of these kind of trio plays that we saw a difference there. So it did come down to scrappy clutch plays at the end of the day sometimes. But hey, sometimes that gets the job done, and sometimes that gets the job done in 2-0, even if it is a double digits fashion. We didn't have to see Ascent. As two individuals who said, you know, Ascent new meta is okay, but not the greatest. It felt like it wouldn't have done justice to the chaos that we saw from double duelist time and time again on Lotus and Corrode. So for the time being, though, that means our matches for tomorrow are set, Crafty, right? We have FPX versus All Gamers, and we have Trace versus EDG.
Yes, and I mean, those are very exciting matches as well, especially seeing how Trace has performed against some of these teams during the group stage. They could, I mean, sort of shake things up as well here in this playoff stage. FPX versus All Gamers. Certainly not looking like we do.
Oh, if we see the All Gamers of today, goodbye Wolves. FPX is making over top 4. But well, that's the thing, is you don't know what All Gamers you're gonna get. And I mean, Crafty, I think we have an interview sitting by, right?
Yeah, I do think so. So enjoy the interview with our translator, Vida.
大增，你觉得现在面对到比赛，你们是什么样的心态？包括说又学习到了什么呢？
因为我觉得我们自己个人能力都挺好的吧，然后之前失利是因为
and they're usually like spend the most time focusing on themselves, because usually when they lose, they say that they didn't play the things that they practiced.
那像今天在莲花古城这一张地图，你们在进攻方打的感觉也没有那么的复杂，很多次可能是爆弹一波包点，比如说之前很喜欢爆弹 C 点，然后在喊了一个暂停之后，大家以为可能要稍微打的复杂一丢丢，结果又爆弹了 B 点。
Yeah, why do you guys choose to literally rush sites against EDG?
说很有默契的队伍，你们会选择这样的打法呢？
因为他们的阵容本身我们其实遇到挺多次的，然后我们也知道他们是防不住我们的一波爆弹嘛。
Yeah, it's like because we know that EDG has a lot of experience, it's like we had to like change things up with a timeout, but then we still ended up just hitting the different sites. And how do you feel like getting that 3K at the end of Lotus? Yeah, he said at that point I didn't actually even like realize I ended the match. And what do you want to say to the fans?
场内比较欧亨利，结果场外也是比较欧亨利式的结局。OK， 那还有什么话想要对重庆的粉丝说吗？
And it's like we spent a lot of time, we were kind of up and down, and then we spent a lot of time adjusting. I hope you guys can keep like supporting us.
会在重庆展现不一样的 DRG 给你们。
Yeah.
非常感谢。
And that's it for the interview.
那在季后赛，在重庆一定要好好加油，谢谢。
Still rather cautious there with the excitement on the side of Nick, but great interview, of course, and thanks to Beatus for translating once again. I mean, it feels like DRG themselves, they know they're kind of the underdog still, and they know they actually, I feel like they're still not expecting to really make a run here in playoffs. I mean, especially with facing up against teams like EDG, like XLG in the next round. At what point do you think they should start trusting in their own selves and
I think now
to actually make champions?
I mean, we said it, they have to be top 3 in beating XLG, which they've already done, mind you, in that last round of the group stage. I mean, it's lower stakes there. I mean, I don't even want to call it lower stakes though, because XLG, right, was knocking on the door of champs in terms of points. So they should have been taking that match seriously, even if it didn't matter, like in terms of playoffs qualification wise, right? But outside of that, I mean, DRG, like you're one match away. If you keep playing your game like Nick mentioned, then we might just be seeing you in Paris.
I mean, if you would have told me that DRG are gonna make playoffs or are gonna make champions, I don't know, I probably would have called you insane prior to stage 2. But let's take a look at the predictions, because I guess we both took an L.
Okay. This one was a harder one to decide for me. It's kind of like, again, I lose faith in my underdogs after like I do bet on them other times. And DRG is one of those that, again, they have so many 3-mappers against really, really good teams that I was like, I think there is a strong world where they could convert. And I think that's why it was, just 1 or 2 casters away from it being like an even 50-50 between the two, even though EDG were previous world champions. Yeah. And again, I came into this and I'm like, yes, I predicted for EDG because that's what the logical side of me was saying. But then you see these creative comps, you see Nathan's ideal about, okay, we're trying to give Achman, our rookie, the time and room to breathe, to grow, and we're playing our own game with these creative comps. It's like your heart is like inside is like, I kind of like this team and how kind of independent they are.
Yeah, I mean, playoffs are bound to be even more to become even more exciting now that we've had these upset wins. Even though, I mean, teams like XLG and BLG still look like the favorites, of course, in this run. But, I mean, a team like DRG, with the way they've been playing, with the way that they didn't really have to adapt so far compared to their group stage, it could certainly shake things up even more. And I'm also excited to see how Tyloo is going to match up against BLG now that they just swept over all gamers. Yeah.
They were looking good, but I think we've done enough tooting DRG's own horn for how well they did today, being able to shut down a team 2-0. And we have our, again, matches set for tomorrow. Like we said, it will be back here. Project Horizon, new sets of casters for FPX versus Tyloo and Trace versus EDG. And then after that as well, the playoffs for the second part of playoffs will continue the 20th to the 24th as well. Yes. I believe in a bigger venue as well. Stakes are higher, gotta heat things up. But all in all, I mean, Crafty, literally just just a visual of what I just summed up. And we didn't even get to talk about BLG, Tyloo, and XLG DRG. How do we think those are gonna go? Sorry, FPX versus AG. I said it wrong, guys. Don't worry about it.
I mean, yeah, these should totally get in, be in favor of BLG and XLG, of course. I'd be excited to see a rematch of that, but in the upper bracket final. But yeah, it's a do or die matchup tomorrow for these teams: FPX versus All Gamers, who were mentioning it, and Trace Esports versus EDG. It'd be crazy if we see EDG drop out of playoffs tomorrow versus Trace. But I mean, if you're a Trace Esports fan, you're certainly hoping that, because as you can see, championship points are on the line, and there's so many teams waiting behind Wolves Esport to claim that 4th spot.
Yeah,
to make it to Paris.
you're a Wolves fan, tomorrow you are definitely, you know, all gamers fans. You are definitely going to be EDG fans because, again, reminder, DRG, I think top 3, it seems like, again, since 4 points trailing and you get 4 points from top 3, could steal it out from under them. And on the other side of things, again, FPX, I think, and Trace, it's like top 4 that can steal it away. So again, Wolves, their champs is out of contention, but otherwise, we mentioned it, high stakes matches coming up, elimination matches already tomorrow, Crafty.
Yes, a lot is on the line for these teams, not only for the teams playing tomorrow, but also for the teams watching, as you've mentioned. So be sure to tune in again. We're going to be live at the same time as today, as FPX and All Gamers are going to face up against each other. But we do have another graphic. I just heard that correctly. But yeah, so make sure, of course, to tune in again. And that also gives me a chance to of course, say thank you to everyone who has been supporting us so far, who has been watching. Greetings to all the watch parties. If you want to support this project, if you want to keep this alive and help us bring English broadcasts of VCT China to you guys at home, make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe. Feel free to support us through any way possible. Thank you for sticking with us so far. And we do have another graphic. Top 5 players today. I mean, it's, yeah, I was about to say, Spirit being
what are you doing there, Kong Kong?
back-to-back even MVP, and still it's Kong Kong again, stealing the spotlight.
Can never stop this man. I mean, look at that. The KDA, at least for Spirit, was over. It's just the ACS and the impact that you're able to find in that duelist role back-to-back versus Yoru again. Util flexibility to try to support other players, but oh no, I think we already discussed the matches today, and we watched the Tyloo AG game. It was something to behold. Yo-Yo's insane, and I'm sure we'll see them hopefully come out to play tomorrow against, or sorry, 20th against BLG. But for the time being, Crafty, it was a first great cast with you. And again, to shout out the people behind the scenes. First off, thank you as my co-caster. Shout out to Volt, who switched gears from casting to producing today. Went through some hiccups and adjusted beautifully on the fly. And thanks again, finally, to our translator, Bidos, for today. So all in all, thank you to everyone who supports Project Horizon. Thank you to those who watch Party, who watch just to enjoy. And again, this is all by the community, for the community, and we will see you next time.